Hello and welcome to the MotorMotion E-Series TrackSpotTV Manufacturer Masters, where we return for the final of a 6-round series. It is round 6, and it is time to close off what has been a very exciting and brand new look at what a GD7 series can bring. Thanks to MotorMotion E-Series, of course, for putting on this incredible new season of racing. Who will be the Manufacturer Masters? Today, we find out. The primary sponsor of the Manufacturer Masters is TrackSpotTV, and it's time for a revolution in sim racing broadcasting with professional-grade immersion, and emotion, graphics and overlays, commentary, multi-platform streaming. They are the proud broadcast partner of MotorMotion E-Series. So we look back at rounds 1 through 5, Trial Mountain, Deep Forest, Sardinia A, Kyoto Driving Park, the Dragon Trail Seaside, the Death Chicken, as it was coined by John Wright, and now to round 6, St. Croix B for a 30-lap race. In fact, it'll actually be a 26-lap race. Previous standings look like this, and it is Gopin Mahindajit currently on top in Group 3 category for Gridline Racing on 94 points. He is now, at this point, uncatchable in the series, but he's still got one more race to navigate before we close things out. And that gap, it is close enough. If he gets 0 points this round, Nick Pfaff can catch him. Nick Pfaff and Lewis Atkinson, 2nd and 3rd in the standings there for Group 3. In Group 4, it's Matt McCullum on top with a similar gap. He has been as dominant as Gopi in the Group 3s for CP Motorsports in that Lamborghini. Then Xander Stewart for Yugen Global and Glenn Mead for One Bite Racing in the Audi. In the team's championship, Ferrari making John Wright a very happy man indeed. Gridline Racing on top by 28 points, 158 points total to their name across the 6-round series. Then it's Hooncorp Esports, Chevrolet, and CP Motorsports, the top 3. Well, it's going to be an exciting final round to this beautiful season of racing. Round 6 begins today. We're going to go for Split 1 and Split 2 commentary. But first, it's going to be over to John Wright and Isaac Forgarty for Split 1 coverage.
Good evening, race fans, and thank you very much, George, for the intro and the info. What a season it's been. The finale this evening, round number 6 around St. Croix. What a track this is to finish it off. What a season it's been. Been an absolute pleasure to be here for the entirety, and I'm going to be here for split number 2 as well, but we're here of course for split number 1, and joining me once again in the commentary box. It's been far too long, but here he is back again, and an absolute cracker for him to preside over with me this evening. It's Mr. Isaac Forgarty. Good evening, Isaac.
Good evening, John. Good evening, everybody watching at home. This season has been absolutely cracking in terms of the racing product we've been provided, and I'm very excited to see what unfolds here tonight at St. Croix.
Indeed, yeah, as George said, Forza Ferrari, let's go. This evening is round 6, St. Croix B, 26 laps, an early morning race for the drivers. Once again, the final round set against the tranquil riverside of St. Croix, a true test of tyre strategy and driver stamina. With the combination of high-speed straights and flowing curves will challenge every competitor, as it says in the driver's briefing, and it certainly will challenge them. Something that we've seen, Isaac, all season long is the strategy calls. They have been so incredibly vitally, as well, of course, as avoiding the death chicken, but the strategy, and it really is going to come down to strategy once again, because as it said in the driver's briefing, the tyres around here are going to suffer a bit.
Oh, absolutely. There's no death chickens here tonight for them to have to try and avoid, but strategy will play a factor. We've got a fairly long lap around here as well. As you can see, the qualifying times, Rally Easter on pole with a 2-minute 8.8. So it's a long lap, and if your tyres are, if you're looking at tyre wear, you're going to have to make a decision fairly early on whether you're going to undercut or overcut, and the overcut could bite you here if you stay out just that bit too long.
Indeed, yeah. The drivers, as we've seen, 26 laps they've got this evening. There we can see the qualifying results for split number 1 this evening. Riley Easter for CP Motorsports, 2 minute 8.8. Just over half a second to Andrew Scott. Me, Cougar Racing in second. Craig Harcourt in third for the Rusty Nut. In atop the timing table with Spectre Motorsport, guided by Graham Splint in second, and Dave Cooke for Colin Racing in third place. Very, very close in the qualifying there, Isaac, between the GT4s. Not so much, though, between the GT3s. This could be an interesting race. Again, throwing the strategy in and the difference in pace and the length of this track, it's going to be a spicy one.
Absolutely. We've seen the splits mixed up a bit for this round as well. So some of these drivers haven't come into contact with each other too much across the season, which does excite me in the sense that we're going to see guys racing against each other that haven't had the opportunity to yet. So there's a bit of unknown in terms of what each other's racecraft is like. So this is going to be a very exciting race. There's a bit of pace difference in the GT3s, but as you said, looks very close in the GT4s.
Indeed, yeah, the GT4s always do provide great racing anyway. Phenomenal fun cars that are to race, to drive and to commentate. And they are all lining up on the grid. Split 1, round number 6 to end season number 1 is about to start. And we'll jump down to the track. Here we go then. The red lights are illuminating. They will extinguish to green, and we are away. And it is an absolutely solid start by everyone. We see a car, right at the back of the GT3 field, looking for a move. Ando, straight round the outside, rockets up into first place, leaves Water Arrow absolutely standing in the Lamborghini. It's like he had the handbrake on there. We might need to get Water Arrow to check his equipment. Grimbat with a good start as well. Rusty Madrick and Gr.4. I think it was Brits Lightning that was making a bit of a move at the start as well, but certainly Ando absolutely barreling out of the gates in Aston Martin, giving a good run on the Lamborghini. But to be fair, Water Arrow is managing to keep up, so he's not exactly breaking away in the Mercedes. The Grimbat coming under serious pressure from Rusty and Madrick. That's a nice little slipstream train they've got on the go there. Mercedes, the Lexus, looking a bit lively on the curves. He's unsettled the car there. He's managed to settle it back down again. He's almost put himself into the wall right at the start of the bridge. That is a most inopportune moment, sorry, to do that. Not that there is an opportune moment, of course, to pop your car in the wall, but certainly at the start of the bridge is not the way to do it. Gr.4 in 6th position, and there is Brits Lightning bringing up the lead. So he's not bringing up the lead, he is leading the way in the GT4s. In the Atenza, he's got Skippy closely following. You can see the GT4s, look how close they are with Blue Dog directly behind Skippy, and that's Hodges and Bluey with Marty McFarty bringing up the rear, but he's not too far down, to be fair. He is down in 12th place overall. Oh, and there's Fly as well. Good to see he survived the bridge. Oh, we've got a bit of an overtake. That looks like Bluey on Hodges, is it? I think it is. Oh, and they're going side by side. Yeah, Hodges, they're chasing down podium positions here, and Bluey just about fends them off. Gets it up the inside, and the Jag manages to hold on to sight of the podium with no car separating him from it. He's certainly got a very full rear view mirror at the minute, that is for sure. That Mercedes of Marty McFarty, his GT3 teammate, doing well so far, and he finds himself, as I say, just on the back of the podium battle as we come to the end of the first lap. Coming towards it, as he goes round the outside. No, he doesn't. Oh, and that is that is Hodges. Oh, and they are going to go side by side. And I tell you what, Marty McFarty in the Mercedes is going to be getting all of that slipstream, although he's going to find himself boxed in on the inside. He does. Oh wow, he absolutely splits the difference. Goes for the extreme inside. No. There was no way they were going 3 wide there through turn number 1, although they're almost going to go 2 wide on the outside, and it is going to be Marty McFarty that's going to have a good run. He's surely going to take a position here against the Jag. Is he going to get 2? No, he's not. In fact, he's going to lose one at the Jag. Look at that. The Jag runs round the outside, Isaac. That is a solid start from the GT4s. They're having some great fun out there, and the Mercedes looks like he's about to come straight back at the Jag again.
Yeah, Dylan Scarborough's just trying to stay in this and keep him keeps sitting in behind in that Mercedes. This has been a great start from the GT4 drivers. We knew they were going to provide good racing, but I didn't know it was going to be this good straight off the bat. This Aston Martin of Hogs is looking Mark Hogan looking very, very aggressive early on, but it's Bluey that got the upper hand and finds himself on the podium early in this race. This has been a really good start from all of our GT4 drivers, but you don't want to use these tyres too early. Most drivers running on the soft tyre at the moment, as I see Fly bringing up the rear in the Lexus. So most drivers on the soft tyre. It's Andrew Scott leading the way at the moment in this race. Water Arrow struggled a little bit here at the start, John. He's dropped down to 5th place, so our pole sitter not having the start he might have liked.
Indeed, yeah, that is a massive fall from grace, although he is on the medium tyres. So that could explain he's going for a different strategy. Although, it's lap 2, the lobby setting quickest sectors, because that's how it works. But yeah, so he is on the medium tyre coming to the Mustang. I think the Mustang's maybe just served a small penalty there, as he was just going slow down the hill there, Madrick. Madrick is on the soft tyre, so Water Arrow actually, in the grand scheme of things, maybe not doing too badly, considering he is on the lesser tyre. And we'll have seen, again, Isaac, it's been fascinating seeing, the drop-off, certainly last week as well. The sudden drop-off on the soft tyre meant the drivers on the mediums had much better grip towards the end of the stint, and I'm sure it was Water Arrow that was one of the drivers who benefited that, so he could be looking at a similar strategy call again around another tyre munching track.
Yeah, Riley is really good on his tyres as well. So going with the medium tyre and running long into this race is going to serve him well, especially if he can make it last long enough. 26 lap race. If he can get maybe 16, 17 laps out of these tyres, he will be able to get onto the softs and get home quite easily from there, quite comfortably. So I'll be very keen to see what he can do. He's doing 2:14 on the last lap, which tells me he may have had an issue somewhere, considering Ando's doing 2:10s. I don't think the speed difference is that great between these guys, considering Riley did a 2:08.8 to get himself on pole. So we know the pace is there for Riley in the CP Motorsports, not Mustang, I'm looking at the car in front, the CP Motorsports Lamborghini, but he's got Madrick in front of him, and this Mustang does have legs down the front straight. It's quite quick. Here we go. Rusty's making a move down what will be the inside of Grimbat as they head down towards, I believe this is turn 10. Well, this is through turn 9 now, down towards turn 10. This is great racing between these two, and I think that is Rusty has almost got the move done. Squeezes a little bit on the apex of turn 10. There's a little bit of front to rear contact, but that is a great move from Rusty down the inside. And this is Madrick and Riley now going side by side as we head through turns 12 and 13. This is great racing at the moment between these two. Around the outside from Riley Nicholson to get that move done on the Mustang.
Very nice moves on the Mustangs on the medium tyres. Not three bad at all for Water Arrows. He comes round the last corner. Two-way battles we saw there. Rusty and Grimbat swapping positions. And we've got another one. It's the GT4's not to be left out, of course. It's Skippy and Gr.4. Skippy and Brits Lightning. It's Brits Lightning who's just got his nose back out ahead of the Shell BMW. Although Skippy's now got his nose back in front down the hill, the Atenza is going to pull back into the slipstream, and it's going to be Skippy skipping his way closer to the race win. And the three-way battle is still going on. The Mercedes are absolutely loving this track, or we're loving the Mercedes at this track. Certainly the overtaking they're getting involved in. Absolutely incredible. Bluey is just at the front of this little pack. Marty McFarty and Blue Dog just behind, and Marty goes for it around the outside, and he's managing to hang on to it, but the Mustang is going to have a lot more traction on that inside line, but it's going to be the Mercedes with the torque that starts to do the running. But here comes the Aston Martin. Here comes Hodges. So we've got Aston Martins battling up and down the field as well, and I tell you what, he has got very, very, very close indeed to this battle, and this is really just, it's great entertainment for us, but it is going to slow these drivers down if they're chasing the pack leader, who's getting a good run at the moment. Fly just picking up a penalty. down at the back of the field, and certainly no flies on Ando. He's just done back-to-back 2-minute 10.1s, Isaac. That is a statement there to go back-to-back. He's 600ths of a second off the fastest lap consecutively, and he's just purple sector #1 out as well. He is loving the views and the empty track in front of him.
Yeah, he's flying at the moment. There is not much holding him back. He will be continuing to build the gap. Look at the mini map in the top right-hand corner and just see the gap between himself as he'll come across the line. What's he going to do this time? A 10-0, so improves by 0.04 of a second. This is absolutely brilliant from the Aston Martin driver. He's doing a great job to get himself in a position where he can win this race. Yes, we talked about how Riley is on the medium tyre and can run longer, but there's only so much you can do if the leader builds out a huge gap, and that's exactly what Andrew Scott is doing.
Yeah, Ando is loving life up at the front in the Lexus in second of Rusty, getting a big gap back to, or a bigger gap back to Water Arrow now. Again, another car on the softs, although Rusty's car fairly chewing through those tyres. Water Arrow lurking like a little shark. Cue the Jaws music. We've got Grimbat and Madrick still having a little battle. The Mustang and the Mercedes battling away the GT3s and the GT4s. Absolutely love the way this has worked out this season. An incredible idea for the championship, and very well executed by the teams and drivers. It's really mixed things up. Goes the head across the bridge. The Mustang looking to open its big long legs across the bridge, but the big long nose of the Mercedes makes it there first. Grimbat still ahead of Madrick. We'll jump back down. We'll have another quick look at the GT4s and see Skippy. He's got himself a good lead there, considering himself and Brit's Lightning. It looked like Brits could run away with it a bit, but not to be. His tyre was looking not too bad. But he does have Bluey and Marty McFarty closing in on him. The Mercedes at both classes and the Jags doing very well here this evening. And Bluey, I tell you what, he's got the bit between his teeth in that BMW. Across the bridge they go, and Brit's Lightning, he was leading the way, took pole position, Isaac. He's already lost out to Skippy, and if I was a betting man, I'd have a little bit of folding money on Bluey here, upsetting the apple cart as far as second place goes, certainly before the pit stops.
Yeah, well, I really hope not, because Mazda is my manufacturer of choice when it comes to this series. I was asked earlier on in the season who I was picking to be my manufacturer. Obviously, we've got some McLaren fans, we've got some Ferrari fans, and I am a big fan of the Mazda. So I'm really hoping Brit's Lightning can hold on here, but it looks like Blue has got a lot of pace in this car, in this Aston Martin. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does jump in quite soon.
Indeed, yeah. Oh, he's already eyeing up. I tell you what, he's got a good gap back. Oh, Hodges has got a penalty. That could be incredibly detrimental. The penalty line is hugely unforgiving around this course, as it is on many of them. And that half a second will certainly translate to a lot longer than or much more than a half-second difference in the gap, and that is going to see him potentially lose the slip. No, in fact, it will lose him the slipstream from Blue Dog, given the gap that he's already got there. So that is going to drop him much further back in this podium battle. But Blue Dog is out on the soft tyres, and I'll tell you what, the GT4's in the pits.
We've got a car in the lane. So Blue Dog's going to come in, which is, I think, surprising, because they have all tyre sets available to them. It'll be interesting to see what tyres he goes on to for the remainder of this race, or whether he goes for the two-stop. I wouldn't think the two-stop would be overly beneficial around here. You will be able to get away easily with just doing one stop at this race, John, but it's very bold call to come in with 6 laps already going in this race.
It is, yes, not 28 litres left in the tank as well. As we see Marty McFarty coming under pressure, and it is Bluey that flies past him. He's tearing down the hill. Sorry, yes, Marty McFarty looking to catch up and actually overtake Bluey. Sorry, Bluey was hunting down Brit's Lightning. It's now Marty McFarty doing the hunting, and they go side by side onto the bridge, and he's going to have the nose in front, and he has got the Mercedes up in to third place. So while I was talking about Bluey potentially getting up into second, the Mercedes driving Marty was, no, having none of that, Mr. Commentator. I'm going to have a crack at second place first. Oh, and he almost had a crack at that wall there as well. Bluey, thankfully, didn't go full monkey see, monkey do and pop into the wall with him. They've both survived that one. So yeah, let's jump down and see, was it Blue Dog? Let's see what he's done coming out of the pits then.
Mediums.
So he's gone for the mediums.
Bold call. I don't know if I would have gone the mediums this early. I would think 20 laps on this set of tyres is a big ask, but you never know. They could know something I don't. And the fuel.
Yeah, I was going to say the fuel. Yeah, I think he is going to go for a two-stop because surely just over half a tank. He's not getting 20 laps. Splash and dash for some softs potentially. We shall see. We shall see.
It could be.
So
I wouldn't think it'd be the most effective strategy, but again, he could know something that I don't. There's a lot of unknowns in this race at the moment. It's a very long lap, 7.0 kilometers actually, almost 7 kilometers exactly this circuit. So it's very long. 14 turns, plenty of time for him to make up time.
Ford burns its tyres quickly, softs.
Okay, yeah, I've just seen from race control as well that the Ford does melt through its tyres, quite literally eats the rubber off them on the way around the course. So yeah, the softs really not working out for the Ford. And yeah, it's going to be a long second stint. Ando still looking to maximise his first stint. His race consistency is quite frankly disgusting. He's just done a 2-minute 10.1, 2-minute 10.1, 2-minute 10.0, 2-minute 10.1. You guessed it. That's 4 laps in a row, all within half a tenth of one another. And then just to spice it up a bit, 2-minute 10.4. So maybe he is feeling it slightly in the tyres. Yep, so another 4 tenths down. So the soft tyres, as we can see, his front left is almost halfway through. So that gives us a good idea of the kind of operating window. Well, certainly Ando flying at alien pace compared to the rest of the field, but it does give us a good idea of the full operating window of a set of softs around here. And it is only 6 laps because Ando now consistently, Isaac, dropping that a little 4 tenths of a second. So I'd imagine this one could still be in the 210s. He's a tenth and a half down, so he's still going to be in the 210s, but certainly, as we said at the start, the soft tyres don't historically do well round here, and even the race leader, 7 laps in, starting to see them drop off just a bit. And as a Gran Turismo driver, you know, once that drop off starts, it's a quick descent.
Oh, absolutely! It's like a cliff. The second it starts to drop off, you're just sort of falling and just in a bit of a free fall as the tyres continue to go down. It's a nice visualizer on the side there for everyone at home to see just sort of that tyre drop off, especially from someone like Ando who has clear air in front of him, so no one really to battle. Someone like Rusty and Water Arrow, they're battling at the moment, which means that we're not going to get the most accurate representation of their tyre drop off. You can see Rusty has used quite a lot of that left front. It is very heavily used. The front tyre is working a lot around here. It's a high turning time. He's very close on fuel as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rusty in this lap. Riley Nicholson is sizing up a move as they run through turn 9, pulls to the inside to get himself the positioning as they head into turn 10. Side by side, deep on the brakes from the CP Motorsports driver. Gets that done. His tyre life is just that much better at the moment. He's also running low on fuel as well, so he's going to have to come into the lane to get fuel, which is going to negate the advantage that he has had being on these medium tyres. So this is a big moment in this race that they all start on the same amount of fuel, so he can't run longer than those on the soft. So he's managed to get back up into second, but was it worth it starting on these medium tyres?
So here's my guess, Isaac. I'm going to say yes, because he doesn't need to take tyres when he comes into the pits now. The drivers on softs will. He could effectively come in, I think. I think we've cracked the code here. I think he's just going to come in, fill up on fuel, and then do it. I think he's going to double stint his tyres. Because as you've just pointed out, look at the wear. If he's got 9 laps out of half a tank, he comes in, takes on half a tank, and no tyres. Even comes back out with the mediums, and then even comes in and does a splash and dash Yeah, I think we might have cracked it there. I think you've popped that idea in my head, Isaac. I think that might actually work out quite well. I'm also massively impressed at how many extra laps they're getting with such a low fuel tank. But certainly Water Arrow, as Isaac beautifully described there, absolutely flying. Not only that, actually, Isaac, he's just set the fastest lap of the race with a 2-minute 10.015, a gargantuan 400ths quicker than Ando on the soft. So we've been waxing lyrical about Ando, but Water Arrow really is proving to be the star of the show at the minute.
Yeah, Rowan Nicholson's flying. I had noticed that. I thought his lap times have just started to come down. Everyone else's is going up, and their times are getting slower. His times are getting faster, so he's beginning to enter that key operating window for these medium tyres, and he wants to take full advantage. Low fuel, medium tyre. He is absolutely flying. He's got a lapped car in front of him who he makes his way around. It's the responsibility of the drivers doing the lapping to get around the lap cars. It's not the responsibility of the lap cars to get out of the way in this series. So a little bit different to how some other series work, but it works very effectively for these guys, and I haven't heard any complaints so far. So they're absolutely flying. This is going to happen. They're going to have to come in this lap, surely. They're running on fumes at the moment. There's no fuel left in the tank. I don't see anyone else staying out beyond this lap.
Yeah, no, if you look closer, actually, you can see 2 feet Flintstone style underneath the Lexus. Just helping to run it along because there is absolutely nothing but fumes in that petrol tank. Riley Nicholson, our pole sitter, comes in. 2 whole litres of fuel left for himself and Rusty Madrick. Certainly in the same boat, so it'll be into the stable, sorry, for a change of saddle for the Mustang. That joke could have gone so well if it hadn't gone so badly. Here comes the Audi around the last corner, and again this season we're seeing the Audi. That's right, do not adjust your ears, folks. It is the Audi who is leaning out that fuel like an absolute legend, and Gr.4 looks like he could go another gazillion. I mean, he's done 10 and he's got just under a quarter of a tank left. He could easily get another 6 laps out with this, Isaac. While we've been watching everyone else's Water Arrow's changed tyres. Isaac, you were spot on. All that work he's done was for absolutely naught. He's come back out on the softs, and Gr.4 is a legend on the fuel and tyres. So much to talk about suddenly.
This is massive for the rear engine or the mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars. They're second and third at the moment. One is running his fuel like he's got 7 million gallons of it. He's got so much fuel in that car. I think he has a little jerry can next to him, and he just keeps reaching around and pouring some more in just to make sure he can keep running. But Water Arrow, soft tyres. This is a bold call, and I would suggest that it's going to have to be a 2-stop from here from Water Arrow. I don't see him getting home with the fuel that he's got and the soft tyres unless he gets his hands on the jerry can that Griffo's got sitting in the passenger seat next to him.
Yeah, the two of them just passing petrol through the window to try and catch up to Ando and the Aston Martin. Yeah, you can absolutely see that happening. There we go then, and look at the slipstream that the Lambo's got at the minute. And it's interesting here, and it's something that Isaac already touched on, the respect between the drivers, the blue flags, and the way the work is. Oh, and that's a difference in opinion on where you enter that corner. Yep, and he's almost entered the back seat of the Audi. Oh, and he's giving it a bit of a shimmy and a shake as Ando comes into the pits. He had 1 litre of fuel left. Aston, I tell you, it's always been a good endurance car. I've seen many a 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20, 1 hour 25 minute stint from a fuel tank in a GT3 Aston. And Ando has come back out after 10 laps with 46 litres of fuel and soft tyres. I think the two-stop strategy. The two-stop strategy is on. He's done 11 laps on half a tank, and he's got half a tank. So he's going to run to lap 20, 21, 22-ish. So it looks like the mandated two stops for the Monaco Grand Prix has filtered through to the MotorMotion Manufacturers Masters at round number 6, split 2, and the drivers all going for that two-stop strategy. And I do think, I hate to say it because he's had such a good start, he took pole position, but I do think, Isaac, that Water Arrow has dropped the ball massively by changing tyres here. If he'd have kept those mediums on, he would have easily got another 10 laps or so with half a tank of fuel, keeps the weight of the car down, and then does a splash and dash, maybe even throw some softs on to close out the race and have a very strong finish. And now, yeah, second place, but with Gr.4, look at this, he could be a strong contender to take second away from him.
Yeah, well, I think everyone got the two-stop memo except for Griffo. No one told him that this was a two-stop race, so he's sort of just out on his own at the moment, sitting in third. I think he is very likely a driver that we could see running to the end on just one stop. So, Rowan Nicholson, I think he's got the pace. We know he has the pace. He can catch up to Ando. But what can he do once he catches up to Ando? Track position is crucial around here. It's a big, wide circuit, very easy to make an overtake, but if you're the driver that's ahead, you are more likely to be able to defend that position, and it's all to do if you're the one behind. So this is leading the way at the moment is Bluey, I believe, in the GT4 class. And we've got Brit's Lightning not too far behind in my car of choice, the Mazda Atenza. And this is really interesting at the moment. Medium tyres hasn't come into the lane yet, so these guys have stayed out. In fact, John, they've not yet to pit. You get a lot of running out of the fuel tank in these little GT4 cars.
Yeah, you really do. Just having a quick analysis of his lap times. They have, as you would expect, fallen off a cliff. With the so it was Death Chickens last week, and it's Death Cliffs this week. But yeah, certainly the lap times dropping as the amount of rubber on the rims of the soft tyres diminishes hugely. A lot of diminishing returns once you get beyond the aforementioned multiple times cliff. The petrol tank, though, as Isaac pointed out, these drivers all got their little feet running through the floor of these ones as well. Across the bridge they go. Bluey is going to be pushing that thing in. Now he has got about half. I wonder if we're going to see anybody double stint tyres. I think we will see that in split one potentially. I really do think that could be a very good strategy in these cars. Brit's Lightning holding on 2 seconds. Oh, and he's got damage. Skippy. He was, I was going to say, he is our net leader in the GT4 class, the BMW driver into the pits earlier than the rest. Although, is he the net leader? Is his petrol tank going to throw him under the bus compared to the rest of the cars? His front left suspension is certainly trying to throw him under the bus at the minute. Full damage on, so if he does want that repaired, it does mean a trip into the garage. Judging by the petrol tank, he is going to be coming in once again, so could get it fixed then. But his lap times, oh well, in saying that, his lap 2 was 2 minute 22, and he did a couple of 2:23s. And since coming out of the pit, he has managed the 2:22.7. Right, so he's not suffering too badly. He has lost a bit of time.
It depends when that damage occurred. If that damage has occurred on this lap that we're watching now, then that very well could just be... we won't really have an indicator. You can see he's getting out of the way of the GT3 cars as they head past. We've got the other GT4 cars of Bluey and Brit's Lightning in the lane. They could run to the end. I do not see how you could come in at lap 11, and considering we only started this race with, I believe, 75% of our fuel, I don't see why you couldn't be able to get to the end of this race with a full tank of fuel. But they're only putting 67 litres in, so again, someone knows something I don't. They're not telling me everything, these drivers, in terms of what strategy. Only 62 litres for Brit's Lightning as well. So either they're going for the two-stop, or they know they can get to the end with just this amount of fuel.
Yeah, I think they're banking on getting, because if you think about it there, they've done 11 laps on half a tank, which leaves them 14. So half a tank is 50 litres. So you would think 67 would be enough to get them that extra little bit of those extra couple of laps. So yeah, they could well be banking on the fact that those 60 odd litres are going to be enough to bring them home. It's brought them back out behind Skippy, and they're on, well, Brit's Lightning's on medium tyres. Let's have a look at Bluey and see what he's gone for. He's gone for the mediums as well, and Skippy is in sight. Oh,
I believe Skippy's on the softs. He is.
He is. And we think he's on a two-stop strategy. I think we're right. He's already just under half a tank, unless he's trying to bank on it as well. But he's going to have to do a cheeky bit of fuel saving, surely. And that is not going to be easy to do when you've got second and third knocking on that TrackSpotTV adorned rear spoiler. The beautiful Shell BMW. That's a GT3 car, the Mercedes GT3 going past, but there you can see the main protagonists in the podium battle for the final round of the GT4 cars. And there is Bluey. Here, Bluey. That would have been much scarier if he had said that in The Shining, I can assure you. Brits Lightning down in third place. Terrible dad jokes brought to you by Double O Raven. Brits Lightning down in third place in the Mazda. An interesting battle for the Mazda, actually. Only a point behind the McLaren in the championship, so a close battle between them forming, of course, well down on where Ferrari are in the standings. Just saying. But Brits Lightning having a really good race so far on the podium, as the entire race crew. We're certainly having problems with my microphone, I believe. Isaac ready to throw me out the comedy booth as well. But Brits Lightning having a good race nonetheless on the mediums. So it's definitely going to be closing in on Skippy. Again, when the softs drop off a cliff. Blue Dog, he's been out on the mediums for a while, and I don't think he changed tyres.
No, I don't believe so. I
didn't.
think he's
started
been on
softs.
these tyres. He started on the softs. Okay, we're getting word from our analysts in the booth.
Yes, he
that
pitted
did start on
after
the
6 laps.
softs. And so he did.
Yes.
He that's right. He was the one that came in first. It was a very short stint on the soft tyres, and I thought it was bold to come in that early. But he's going to have to come back in again anyway. No one will be able to get to the end. Looking at P1 Skippy as well. It's all well and good to talk about his fuel. It's his tyres you've got to look at. He's already used half his soft tyres, and this is Mark Hogan right in behind Blue Dog, and he is on a fresh set of mediums with plenty of fuel on board. He's going to the end, so this will be a mission from him to push himself forward, potentially maybe get past P1 Skippy as well once he comes into the lane, to get himself into the podium, because Aston Martin are leading this race in the GT3 category and are currently 5th on the road in the GT4 category, potentially 3rd once drivers pit, and they are trying to catch up to, I don't like to say it, but they're trying to catch up to Mazda in the manufacturers title championship. They are on 58 points, so there's a bit of a deficit back to the Mazdas, who are on 81 points. But there is still potential, if they have a good result here today, to find themselves moving up the order in the manufacturer's standings.
Indeed, yeah, it's nip and tuck right through the whole field. Again, I mentioned it earlier, such a phenomenal format for a competition, and it's really bringing out the best in the drivers and the teams. And Hodges has certainly brought out the best in his strategists as well. He could have nailed himself on a podium. Certainly with Blue Dog ahead, about to come into the pits, that one looks all but nailed on. Let's jump back up to the GT3s. Quick look there at Martin McFarty and Fly down the field, but down the back, all the GT4s. But yeah, I want to have a quick look. Oh, and I tell you what, 209.6 on the softs for Ando, but Water Arrow has countered with a 2-minute 9.2. And he's just done back-to-back 2-minute 9.3s. So he's obviously heard all that we've been talking about, Ando's otherworldly consistency, and said, Mr. Commentators, hold my beer, let me show you how it is done. And that is not a big gap between the bottom two. So Water Arrow, I'm going to have to go full politician here, Isaac, and go full U-turn. I was declaring he'd made a bit of a mistake swapping out those tyres, but it looks like he's got his strategy absolutely nailed on, because he's out on the same as Ando, and he really is closing that gap on the Aston.
Yeah, but it is all to do for Riley. We talked about it's all well and good to catch, and they've talked about this multiple times across multiple formats, across multiple series. One thing to catch It's another thing to pass, and he's got to use a lot of tyres to get there. They will have to stop again, both of these guys, before the end of the race. Ando took less fuel on in this stint to make sure that he came out well ahead of Water Arrow to give himself crucial track position, because he knew that Water Arrow, and we all knew Water Arrow was going to be fast. We just didn't think he was going to be this fast. 2-minute 9.5. So he's well in the 2-minute 9s point now, doing what Ando was doing earlier with the 2-minute 10s. So flying at the moment, pushing wringing everything that he can out of that Lamborghini. It looks very nice, very well presented. They're all very well presented liveries on this grid, but this has to be one of my favorites, CP Motorsports. I just love the blue.
Isaac, you're going to get copyright infringement
nice
for that quote.
They are, it's not easy putting these liveries on either. It never games. You think the developers would make it easier to make the cars. Oh, that's a bounce off the wall there. Oh, now that is a Lexus, and is that the GT4 Lexus? It is. It's Flies just carrying a bit of damage on that front left there. Just having a bit of a moment across the bridge. He's on the medium tyres as well, so that is hugely unfortunate. Just on the inside. He's on a good solid series. And of course, Bryce Cantwell, sorry, got motor neuron disease, so an absolute otherworldly effort to compete in the season. He will not let anything slow him down, including the damage that he's currently got on his car. He absolutely loves his racing. It's great to see him out here week in, week out, through thick or thin. Yeah, absolutely love to see the dedication. And yeah, absolutely. Massive effort he puts into the race. It's incredible, Isaac. You love to see it.
Absolutely. This is his teammate, Rusty, running around at the moment. Craig Harcourt. But yeah, Bryce Cantwell is doing a mega job. Struggling with a little bit of car rotation at the moment, but that will be as a result of the wall contact. You can see he was just trying to steer the wheel a little bit down the front straight, make sure that there was no real damage to the steering. Hopefully he'll continue on without much fuss. But this is Craig Harcourt sitting in third at the moment, and I think there's a bit of a gap to the leaders. Oh, we've got a car around. That is Grimbat facing the wrong way. That is not good. You do not want to be facing that direction. Nick Williams in the 96 Sparrow Mercedes, and that was not ideal. Look at the tyre wear as well. He's got well over half his tyres used, a lot of use on that front left tyre, and it's very easy to come unstuck through that section. Very tight and twisty third sector, and that will be very frustrating. Sitting in fourth still, so no major loss in terms of track position, or race position, I should say. But if he was catching up to Rusty and Craig Harcourt, he's now got a lot more work to do to catch back up yet again.
He does, yeah. You can see split time there, minus 10 seconds. That is quite the loss there in fourth place, and he is going to have to come into the pits again. Madrick behind him on the mediums, running to the end of the race. Well, there we go. We've just seen Grimbat lose 10 seconds on a lap, and Madrick is staying to the end with Grimbat still to come in to the pits. So if Madrick finishes within 10 seconds ahead of Grimbat, we witnessed where that time was lost. Gr.4, who went for the long first stint, I wonder if he will be able to go for the full one-stop strategy in a GT3. The Audi's certainly looking good on fuel so far in the race at the minute. Ooh, bit of a wiggle on the way on to the bridge. Off the currents on this track, as you've seen so far. But those mediums are looking very good indeed. In fact, he's not too far behind Madrick. Grimbat really good. I've just cost himself a couple of positions with that one mistake. Those soft tyres, as we've seen, he's wrung the neck out of them. He is going to be coming in to change them, and when he does, he is going to hear Madrick and Gr.4 knocking loudly on the rear spoiler on his exit. He's got a couple more laps left. Water Arrow is into the pit, 17 laps in with 28 litres of fuel still in the car, and he is back in the pits.
Yeah, this is a big call. He only got 8 laps or 9 laps on that set of tyres, so he's got about 10 laps to run left in this race. It's asking a lot of these tyres. He's asking more of these tyres than he did in the first stint. So this is a big call. It's a big moment in our race, but this is also a chance for him to get the undercut on Andrew Scott. There was a gap between those cars, so it's going to be very difficult to get the undercut. But Andrew Scott, you can see those tyres are starting to reach the cliff. They're starting to fall off, which means that new tyres for Riley Nicholson are going to serve him well and give him quite a considerable lap time advantage, you would think, over that of Andrew Scott. So this is a big strategy call now. Grimbat also in the lane for his final stop. Madrick and Griffo stay out. If they catch up to each other, because Griffo is catching Madrick, if they battle too much, that could invite Grimbat back into the race for that top 5 position. He's now sitting 6th in this race. So Rusty running 3rd, sort of on his own at the moment. Madrick with Griffo not too far behind. And then Grimbat will be on the soft tyre, so he's got the tyre advantage in terms of the faster tyre. He's got to manage that drop-off a bit, though, because by the time we get to the end of this stint, the tyres will be in that drop-off phase. But if he can use the tyres effectively early in this stint, John, he could find himself in the contention for that top 5 still.
Indeed, yeah, because still all very much change. He is going to have to put in some serious work on those softs if he's going to make it happen, and we will be here for it. Ando then, still leading the way in the GT3s. The Aston's doing well, hunted down by that Lamborghini, and Rusty still in 3rd. There's Bluey, who is
Leading Group 4.
looking very good in the Jag, and he is, yep, leading the GT4s. I was just trying to see, yeah, medium tyres, so he's definitely on the end. And there's Ando into the pits now. He was down to 7 litres of fuel. So that is Ando into the pits. Oh, and I tell you what, this is going to be close. You did say, Isaac, the undercut would be difficult because he was behind, but it looks like he's got it done. He has indeed.
Oh, no, not quite. It's not done
no,
yet.
He's not.
Remember, the cars jump further up the lane to the exit once they're finished putting the fuel, and he's just come out ahead, so that gap is down to nothing now. It was about 3 or 4 seconds prior to this stop, and it's definitely well within under a second now, so this is nice and close at the front for the lead of this race.
Indeed, yeah, 7 laps left to go, and it's the Aston versus the Lambo for the race win. You would think Water Arrow's tyres are going to be slightly more in the window. He's going to have a bit more warmed up. Now he's going to have pretty much, oh well, no, he's got slightly less fuel. Oh no, sorry, he's going to have slightly more because the Aston, oh they're bang on the same actually. The Aston did have better fuel wear, tyre wear, sorry, and fuel consumption for the start of the race. As we've seen, he managed to go a bit longer at the start, but Water Arrow, so they I wonder if he is kicking himself now though, Isaac, as we pointed out with the medium tyres at the start. Imagine what he could have done on the softs, especially as he came in for that stop pretty much when everyone else on the softs was coming in anyway. I mean, yeah, if he doesn't get the race win here, could be those medium tyres at the start that cost him it, because he is right on the back of Ando in his closing stages.
This is going to be a massive battle to the end between these two. Haven't seen too much of them battling with each other throughout this season. Riley, the massive drive off the exit there, that rear-wheel drive mid-engine car, the MR cars as they are so affectionately called, just provides so much power on exit because all the weight is in the rear of the car, whereas you've got a front-engined Aston Martin. So all the slight contact with the wall for Riley Nicholson. Does he have damage on the CP Motorsports Lamborghini? No, he doesn't. He got away with it. That is massive. That would have been race over if he did get damage on that car. So to get away with that is huge.
That is a very, very, very lucky escape for Water Arrow there. He's certainly using his 9 lives thick and fast at the minute. He is closing in. He really has got that slipstream all to himself at the minute, and Ando, nothing he can do other than pull that Lamborghini along beside him. It's all about where Water Arrow tries to launch that car. I'm sure there's a bow and arrow joke in there actually as well, considering his name is Water Arrow. He's going to need to go like an absolute arrow and slingshot past it any way he can Ando, beautiful positioning of the car. Oh, we've got blue flags, of course we do, because it's multi-class and we are more than 2/3 of the way in, so the blue flags have been interacting for quite a while. Here is the GT4 Mustang, currently just off the podium. In fact, fifth place, of course, for the Mustang.
It's a Lamborghini. Lamborghini.
Oh. And terrible jokes coming in from race control, Isaac. I think we might need to get a new race director. What do we think?
I'll second that.
Don't get rid of him just yet. He has got some good ones, so I'm sure he'll come back to us with an even better one before this race is over. But yeah, Riley Nicholson, Water Arrow. Oh, here we go. Looks to the outside, runs very wide, using all of the circuit that he can. They're side by side on the run down towards turn 10. Looking around the outside, this is a very bold move from Riley Nicholson. They're still side by side as they run down into turn 11 and 12. This is not over yet. Riley Nicholson edges ahead. Through turn 12 they go, and that is the lead of the race back. So our pole sitter, he's waited such a long time. It's taken him 20 laps. He dropped down to 5th at one stage, but he's now back up into the lead of this race.
That is absolutely incredible driving, and yeah, Water Arrow 20 laps later retakes the lead, and Ando will try everything to hang on to that slipstream in the Aston Martin, but it's already doing him absolutely no good whatsoever. The fastest lap held by Water Arrow at the minute, and I think yeah, between him and Ando it is a battle for the most consistent driver. I think Water Arrow is edging it ever so slightly at the minute as he's edging every other battle. Of course, his tyres 1 lap older than Ando, so you wouldn't imagine it would make too much of a difference in the closing stages, but it just might. Oh, and just to stamp his authority on the subject, he's gone in purpled sector number 1 just to make sure we know that he is in the lead of the race. So close between the two of them still, though. Ando's certainly not giving up in the hunt, and look at the Aston Martin on the brakes, closing in wildly and wildly, exiting the corner and on to the bridge for the 21st time of asking. And it is the top 2. Oh, and Ando answers back with a purple sector number 2, Isaac. This is absolutely... It could not be any closer in every single aspect.
There's nothing left on the table for either of these two drivers. They know how much this win will mean to them in the teams, the drivers, and the manufacturers. There's 3 championships they've got to think about in this MotorMotion E-Series TrackSpotTV Masters, and they've got lap traffic ahead as well, so this could start to play a factor as we get further into this race, because they're trading blows at the moment in terms of sectors, but they've got lap traffic to have to consider, and that is the Aston Martin. He doesn't have to get out of the way, but Riley Nicholson does find his way around, and that could have been the potential for the teammate game there to be played, but not as much as I thought it was. I was rubbing my hands at the fact that that was an Aston Martin. He could have found himself in an Aston Martin sandwich, but Riley Nicholson, he did make that look relatively easy and got around with quite simply, actually, around the outside of I believe that was Mark Hogan.
Indeed it was, yeah. The Aston Martin teammates getting a glimpse of one another, if somewhat temporarily, and Water Arrow crosses the line slightly down on his quickest lap time, but half a second. You like that one. We've got yes, 22 laps in, so not many laps left to go. Blue flags will be parading the drivers from here to the end. Bluey still doing a phenomenal job in the GT4s. We'll have a quick look at them because we were dragged away by the selfish GT3 drivers. But Bluey in the Jag, he is...
That's
Fly.
I saw the Lexus. I thought it could have been Craig Harcourt, but it was Bryce Campbell. Just finding that outside wall yet again. It's so easy to put it in the outside wall on the exit of the bridge there, especially the bumps. You've seen so many times tonight. The cars get so unsettled and the change of surface through...
It is, yeah. We've got a slight temporary glitch in the video feed. There we go. We're back up and running again, I believe. Yes, indeed. There we go. So Bluey leading the way, as we say, just going past just going past Fly. I was facing the wrong way, as we've said, that bridge entrance, we've seen quite a few cars get really unsettled on the way there, so it was only a matter of time before we saw someone into the wall there. Bluey, though, no mistakes for him at the minute, and he's looking good to run to the end. Brits Lightning, he took pole position, and he is holding on to second place. Of course, Skippy, the driver behind him, and in fact, he's on the medium tyres. Skippy, who is behind him now in third place. He took the lead of the race. We saw him carrying a bit of damage, but more shimmying and shaking through the pit stops sees Brits back up to second place, and that is the overall race leader. Water Arrow just coming in. So see what I mean about selfish GT3 drivers? We can't talk about the GT4s for a moment, and the race leaders are popping up, showing off their stuff. Yep, okay, you're quick in a straight line, we get it. And Brits Lightning, though, doing well to hang on to second place. P1 Skippy, currently in P3, just ahead of Hodges. The Shell BMW has, as you can see, been at the pit. He's had that damage repaired. He's got a fresh set of medium tyres on, and just about enough fuel to make it to the end. That is a frighteningly low fuel gauge for 5 laps left. Even in a GT4, this is going to be very close for the BMW getting across the line. Those golf clubs, the mandatory golf clubs in the boot, of course, and then there, and the Jag, they'll be slowing it down somewhat as well. There'll be plenty of iPads in there too, I'd imagine. The old, what is it they say? The estate car, the estate person that sells property. My goodness me, my brain has just absolutely shut down. There we go, real estate agent Isaac. Thank you for saving my blushes somewhat. But yeah, Skippy. He is still skipping along on the podium just ahead of Hodges. We'll see the sister Aston Martin looking good. Blue Dog back out of the pits and ahead of Martin McFarty and setting personal best sector time, so really settling into a rhythm after discovering at huge cost that the Mustang don't like soft tyres around this track. 6 laps in, took a pit stop, back up to 5th place though, ahead of the mighty Mercedes of Marty McFarty. That's a whole lot of M&Ms there. He is in 6th place at the minute in the GT4s. Just ahead of Fly, who is now damage-free once again. Just having a little bit of an unsettled wiggle. Oh yeah, and he's got blue flag. The GT3's poking their nose in once again.
Oh, bit of contact with that outside wall. I think he's still carrying a little bit of damage from that contact with the wall that he had earlier. So the steering will be compromised. This is Riley Nicholson leading the way. That gap has started to grow, John. So I think we're starting to see, unless there's a massive drop-off now from Riley Nicholson, I don't think Andrew Scott will catch back up to challenge the lead of this race. This man has been quick. He was quick in qualifying. He's been quick all day. And if he got off to the start he wanted, if he was on the soft tyres, this would have probably most likely been a lights to flag lead for Riley Nicholson. He's just absolutely dominated. He owns this track in a sense.
Indeed he does, yeah. And I was just looking at, again, the consistency. It's another thing that fascinates me because it's something that will win you championships, never mind races. It's all fine and well being quick on a lap. Can you consistently bring those times in? That's the difference in Water Arrow. Look at that, 209.5, 209.6, 209.6. While he was in traffic, it was 210.0, 210.2, 210.6. And of course the 231, his outlap. So he's absolutely nailing those apexes, as Jim from Crew Chief would say, with a big smile on his face. He was watching this one. There'd be no abuse coming his way, and he's managed these tyres. And again, the strategy. I'm going to have to eat some serious humble pie. I threw Water Arrow clean under the bus for that medium call. I do think he would have been, yeah, we do. I think we'll all agree. He would have been a bit further up the road if he had started on the sauce, but I did think not changing, or sorry, I did think changing the medium tyres rather than double stinting them was a bit of a mistake. But as Isaac said a few times tonight, they clearly know something we don't. That'll be why we commentate and they win championships. Griffo in the Audi, he's got a big battle on his hands at the minute with Madrick. He's gone for a very long first stint because he can, quite frankly. The Audi has been frighteningly good on petrol over this series. And again, another driver setting personal best sectors in the closing stages, and he's going to need to because Madrick in the Mustang, he's on the mediums as well. Ooh, he's just about popped that into the wall there, kept it out though. They have, of course, got themselves ahead of Grimbat. That spin that Grimbat had in the Mercedes, I did say the 10 seconds that he lost on that lap, and it's safe to say he's somewhere circa 10 seconds behind the two drivers. In fact, yeah, they're just up that straightaway, so if it wasn't for that one spin, he would potentially be ahead of Madrick and Gr.4 at the minute. So yeah, really costly on the last lap, but this is a track that takes absolutely no prisoners at any point in time. It's got some beautiful scenery, Isaac, but you absolutely don't want to be going off at any point because the walls are just so close at every single point of the track. There is no saving graces any place around here.
No, absolutely, and that's what I love about this circuit. It is a fixed permanent circuit in the World of Gran Turismo on the French countryside, but it has a street circuit feel to it, and I love street circuits. So racing around here and watching racing around here is so good because you've got these nice open sections of circuit like we see along the front straight, these sweeping corners through turn one. But then you've also got tricky, technical, challenging parts of the circuit where the road is slightly uneven, like across the bridge down through turns 5, 6, and 7. But it's also the walls are right there, so if you make a mistake, your car is in the wall. I also want to note Gr.4 was in 5th behind Madrick, so that is a change of position that he found himself up. You can see he's just pulling away from Gr.4. He's been brilliant on his tyres and brilliant on his fuel. Again, I think the stewards need to check post-race. There's not a jerry can stashed down the door, so the side of the door there for Gr.4 to make sure that he was able to have enough fuel to make that first stint run. But he's doing, just see how unsettled the front of the car is across those bumps coming through turn 6. But yeah, this is what I love about St. Croix, that we come here, it's a very long circuit, has an endurance feel to it, but it's also it's essentially a street circuit in how close these walls are, because one small mistake, you see there, one small mistake, you're in a concrete barrier, you're in a metal Armco barrier.
Indeed you are, yep, and they are not very forgiving when it comes to carbon fibre body parts. Water Arrow, he's been unforgiving as well. Came at the start on the mediums, dropped down to 5th position, now finds himself leading at the start of the final lap with a 2:10 and a 2:09.8. Again, the lap times absolutely incredible, and he got these tyre strategy absolutely bang on with these softs just as they're hitting the cliff. He is going to be bringing it home. Ando's had an absolutely solid race as well. Got himself out into the lead. It looked like he was running away with it, but he has been absolutely reeled in still. Aston Martin bringing home some incredibly valuable points in the split one. In the round 6 split 1 race. That one totally confused me there for a moment. So yeah, Aston Martin hunting down top 10 honours potentially. That is a good points haul, but it is going to be Lamborghini that are going to be bringing themselves home some very, very, very good points here in split 1, and it will be our pole sitter, and he is going to go for the trifecta. Isaac, he is took pole position. He's a shoe-in for the race win at this stage, and he's got the fastest lap as well. That is some performance from Water Arrow tonight.
All he's missing is having led every lap, and he would have completed the Grand Slam, which would have been a massive effort. And maybe if he started on the soft tyres, he would have, but we'll never know. It was a bold choice, go for the mediums, but it's paid off for Rowan Nicholson. He's had a great race this evening. Very consistent lap times as well since that stop. 2:10s and 2:09s. Holds the fastest lap of the race. And yeah, there's not much more to say really. He's put on a brilliant job. Andrew Scott done a great job as well, sitting in second place. But I'll hand it over to you, John, to call this home.
Indeed, yeah, coming round the last corner after 26 laps, there's even a massive comeback story in there as well. Nothing left in the petrol tank, but certainly plenty left in the arms of the checkered flag as it waves the Lamborghini across the line to bring home the race win in round number 6, split 1. Ando close in behind, but not to be for the Aston Martin. He was looking promising for the race win, but it was Water Arrow that brought it home. Rusty will round out the podium. Great drive for the Lexus team. He's got those mediums absolutely screaming at him. Please finish the race. Gr.4, yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's a great strategy call by the Rusty Nuts team. Went long on that set of mediums, and it's paid off, and it's brought the Lexus an incredible podium. Huge congratulations to the Rusty Nuts team. We've got Gr.4 in the Audi, and despite it having a much better fuel consumption than any of the rest of the cars, he's managed to run it red in the petrol tank as he comes round the last corner for 4th place. And we're seeing the GT4s come home. There is Bluey picking up the checker flag, the Jag. Maybe he dispensed to the golf clubs this week, because that is a solid podium for the Jaguar team. And then it is the mighty Mazdas, brought home by Brits Lightning. Took pole position, only managed 3rd, and Hodges for the Aston. He's got ahead of Skippy at the end. Wow,
Skippy's
Hodges
out of
He's out of fuel. He's out of fuel. Skippy's out of fuel. So that is massive for Dave Crook. He's run out of fuel on the final lap. And that has handed the podium position, the last podium position, to Mark Hogan. And Graham Splint will, in the Ford Mustang, will jump ahead as well into 4th spot. So
switching ever soon.
Dave Crook's going to run home in 5th place. But what a result that race! What a finish!
Indeed, yeah, what a finish that was. There's got to be a joke about Skippy down the well there. But that is the result. Let's have a look. Sorry, that is the race done. Let's have ourselves a look at the results from round number 6, split 1. There we go then. Confirmation. Riley Nicholson atop the timing towers. There was comebacks, there was dramas, there was pole positions, there was purple laps, and there was a CP Motorsports car bringing home the top spot. Andrew Scott with a valiant battle in 2nd place, and Craig Harcourt bringing home the Rusty Nuts Racing team with a valuable 12 points in the final round. Tony Griffin for One Bike Racing in 4th, with Ricky Atwell crossing the line in 5th. Nicholas Williams in 6th position. Colin Racing and Team Capital not racing this week in split 1. We'll have a quick throw at driver of the day, and I think it's a fairly easy one again this week in split 1. Oh, now is it? It's between Riley Nicholson and Craig Harcourt. Goodness me. Goodness me, I don't often give it to the race winner, but I'm going to give it to Riley Nicholson and Water Arrow. Craig Harcourt put up an absolutely incredible performance, but Nicholson taking pole position, dropping to 5th, and coming back in the final stint to win the race. I think for me, gets driver of the day. Isaac, where are you voting this week?
I am voting, I thought long and hard about this, I'm voting for Tony Griffin for my driver of the day in the Audi. Did a brilliant job, pulled off the one stop, brought himself a nice 4th place in that Audi. It was a great result, really. Was struggling for pace early on, but we wondered why. But it was in fact because he was fuel saving like mad to make that one stop work, and he found himself well within the top 5. So that was a great result from him.
Indeed, yes. So there we go. Split 1 drivers. Split 1 GT3s decided on the driver of the day as well. Here is the GT4. Steve Smith, of course, bringing home 20 points for Black Rose with Troy Britnell. He started in pole position, finished in 2nd place. Mark Hogan for Me Cougar, the team 2 cars on the podium, with Graham Splint for Spectra sneaking across the line ahead of Dave Crook, who didn't have a jerry can in his car, so the stewards won't be checking for that one. We might be checking a couple of other cars though. Dylan Scarborough came home in 6th, and of course Bright Cantwell for Rusty Nuts finishing in 7th. Team Capital not racing in the GT4 split either. Driver of the day for me on this one, it's got to be Steve Smith, I think. I've gone back-to-back race winners. It's not often I do that, never mind twice. But yeah, Steve Smith started behind Troy Britnell, and yeah, just had an absolutely solid race. Didn't put a foot wrong, got his strategy absolutely on point, and bringing home a well-deserved win there, I think, for Black Rose. Isaac, how about you?
No, I have to agree with you. Steve Smith, absolutely my driver of the day. He's doing wonders for the Australian Test Squad and doing wonders for Jaguar Racing and Black Rose Racing. So he's done a great job today. Perfect race, as you said, from lights to flag. Didn't put a foot wrong. Couldn't fault him. So well done, Steve Smith, and what a brilliant win in the GT4 category.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely incredible win. That was split one from the final round of the TrackSpotTV MotorMotion E-Series Manufacturers Masters. It's quite the mouthful, but what a season it has been. It certainly left the commentators' mouths absolutely full of words. Of course, get over to the website, www.motormotionseries.wordpress.com. And I was so proud that I remembered to check the notes this week, and I still made a mouthful of it. But yeah, make sure you get over to the website. We've still got Split 2 to come. It will be myself, who will be led by the Master of Ceremonies himself, Mr. George Cooke. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll be back after a quick 5-minute break. But of course, joining me for race number 1, the wonder from down under, the man with the legendary moustache, it's Mr. Isaac Forgarty. Isaac, it's been an absolutely incredible season, and it really has been an incredible split one as well to preside over. Quite the series.
Yeah, thanks, John. I'm going to go get right on growing that mustache for you. But what an absolute, what a way to round out Split 1 tonight. Just some brilliant racing from both categories. It's been a brilliant series to watch, and it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate. So thanks very much for having me.
Indeed, yeah, been an absolute pleasure. We'll, of course, have Isaac back next season, but for now, he will be leaving us, and we will be leaving you very shortly, as I say, for that 5-minute break. Again, www.motormotionseries.wordpress.com. Get yourself over there, get signed up. Season 2 coming on the way, and lots more to come as well. George and I, even with a few interviews to go at the end, but that will be very soon. As I say, enjoy the 5-minute break, stretch those legs, get yourself a drink, get some more popcorn, and get ready for Split 2, where championships will be decided. Until then, we will see you all very shortly. It's a good night from Isaac.
Good night, everybody.
And it is a short good night from me. See you in 5.
Hello and welcome back to MotorMotion E-Series. It's the TrackSpotTV Manufacturer Masters, and we are here for Split 2. It's the final round. Split 1 was incredibly cool to see. A real mix of strategies there. 2 stoppers, 1 stoppers. But it is now the final bit of racing for the Manufacturer Masters Season 1. It is St. Croix B once again. And this split, I tell you, this is a stacked split. And as that is the occasion, we're going to stack the commentary box as well. My name is George Cooke, returning to the commentary box once again. And I'm joined here by the legendary man with the golden mic. It is John Wright, back again for the final bit of racing in Manufacturer Masters.
Indeed, yeah, and I don't even pay him for those intros. Can you believe it? He's far too kind. But yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be back and to round out this season. I was here for the opening, and I'm going to be here to see Ferrari. Here for the finale. Sorry, I used the wrong F there, but Forza Ferrari. It's been an absolutely incredible season, and what a battle it's been between Split 1. It's even been an incredible battle between Mazda and McLaren somewhere further down the table. But yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal, Jordan. It's a pleasure to be back for the final round, throwing jibes your way for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think this is going to be renamed to the stream that giving George Cooke modesty in terms of his McLaren fanship. It is John Wright's day. Ferrari looking very, very strong. Gopi, of course, in Split 2, and Ferrari looking on top as well. That is the Gridline Racing chap. So we've got Scotty Taylor as well, the team owner. He's in this Split 2. So as Isaac was saying in the previous split, been a bit of a shake-up in terms of how the splits have worked all the way through the series. But we've got a stacked one today. This is the championship split. This has got everyone in the current top 3, everyone in the current bottom, whatever. They're all there. They're going to be going at it for what's going to be an incredible bit of racing. So let's take...
Wow. Indeed, yeah, and only 4/10 separating their times. We've seen some fairly sizable gaps between the top 3 and the GT3s this season. Not so for the final round, with one of the longest tracks on the calendar. We find the drivers absolutely inseparable. And George, it is much the same in the GT4s. Ho 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 ho. Wow.
Got a small issue with my microphone. Yes, my microphone has not been running, so there we are. I'm actually now back, so I have been talking a little bit. Yes, Matt Donetti, Behindajit, and Faf. We've got Captain Snooze in 5th, Lewis Atkinson 4th, Hasseldean 6th, Robinson and Campbell Knowles 7th and 8th. So this is a wild, stacked Group 3 grid. Apologies for the small technical issue we have just had there. And we are now all sorted and ready to go. In Group 4, it is Matt McCullum. He has been dominant in Group 4 as Gopi Mahindra has been in Group 3. So great to see him with a good qualifying time there. 8/10 clear of Xander Stewart, who at the beginning of the season for Jürgen Global really looked like the top competitor. Jürgen, of course, was really the staple. We thought that they were going to really run away with the championship. Turns out wasn't the case as much, but he's still close there in the point standings. And then it's Luke Stone for Hooncorp Esports in 3rd place. So Group 4, a little bit further the gap there, but top competitors nonetheless.
Indeed, yeah, it is a bit of a runaway for McCallum in the CP Motorsports Championship. Never mind the qualifying tonight. And Jürgen Global, they are that 8/10 back, but Hooncorp are only 2/10 down on Jürgen. So that is going to be very, very, very close. And of course, George, as we've seen all season and again tonight, these qualifying times that don't really count for much. It's all about the time you spend in the pit box.
That's exactly it. I mean, we saw a mix of strategies, some starting on the mediums, going for a two-stopper, switching to the softs, some just starting on the softs, doing the two-stopper. We saw some attempts at the one-stop on the double mediums from Tony Griffin, with the jerry can attached to the inside of the car. I think he might have been leaning out the window just to sort of fit the tank, the jerry tank into the fuel cap. Nonetheless, lots of different strategies we saw in Split 1. So Split 2, I don't know if it's going to be any different. We know that when the top competitors come together, John, they often end up with a similar idea of what's required for a race like this.
Indeed, yeah, all the drivers that we unaffectionately call alien level through pure jealousy. But yeah, the alien level drivers, they do know how to bring the car home as quickly and efficiently as possible. And that often does play out in their pit strategy, as well as the disgusting amounts of consistency and pace. I mean, save some for the rest of us, please. But yeah, the all-round, the whole trinity of racing is certainly evident in these top competitors, and it will be interesting to see if anyone tries to go for a throw of the dice in the last season, a Hail Mary, if you will, in the dying embers of the season to try and squeeze some more championship points for themselves and their manufacturers, and potentially overturn their current positions, and yeah, stamp a little marker going into season 2.
We shall see, indeed. And yeah, last time we saw all of these competitors at the top together at Dragon Trail Seaside. Let's just say that for some, it didn't actually work out quite as well as we thought. Go from Hinderjet into the wall a couple of times at Death Chicken. Matt Donetti getting spun around by Lewis and Gopi in turn 2 of lap 1. So lots of exciting racing to be happening here. A little bit more width on the track here than compared to Dragon Trail Seaside, so we shall see. One housekeeping item just before we get into the racing, because the cars are lined up on the grid. Do stick around. We've got an interview with Jeff Bruin, the series organizer, after Split 2. Then we'll proceed into the final results, and we'll finish out the stream with a run through the certificates, the official certificates handed out to the drivers for their top 3 finishes, and of course the manufacturer master, who will be there on top. Let's go racing. It's time for Split 2. And away we go. Lights are going to go on. And it is the final round, the final 26 laps of racing in this series. Matt Donetti will start us off. There's the green flag, and we're away racing. Already a move to the inside line to cover off Nick Pfaff by Gopi Hinderjet. Has he done enough? Well, it looks like he has, because that Nissan has not been away off the line particularly well. Lewis going side by side with that yellow Nissan early on. Matt Donetti, a solid start through turn 1, does get that secured. Bit of a move attempt by Lewis Atkinson, the Chevrolet, trying the inside line. That's tricky area to do it, and they're really, really pushing the bar out on this one. Big dive down the inside for Nick Pfaff, nearly runs into the Ferrari, but actually makes contact with Lewis Atkinson, has a moment with his rear end. The grip just absolutely nowhere for these cars. Early morning, soft tyres looks like the consistent choice all the way around the grid. And Captain Wakefield had a little try there, but Lewis, the big loser from those first couple of corners, does find himself pushed out back down into 5th place, right next to Hassel-Dean. Robinson has had a decent start, but I think Campbell Knowles has gone round. He's got damage already, so the Mazda has had a proper issue early on in this race, and the 38 well out of the running early on in this first lap of racing. Racing softs Matt Donetti, and he is charging away at the moment.
He really is. What a start he's had. It's been an absolute battle. Captain Snooze catching half the field sleeping. Yep, okay, we'll leave that one alone. I saw the tumbleweed. But yeah, he's done well there against Lewis. Lewis almost beating it on the curves, and Captain Snooze sending his way up to 4th. Hopefully the narcolepsy doesn't kick in the closing stages of this race, and he does make it to the end of a final round. It would be good to see and break tradition. Robinson has got Hassel-Dean hassling him. Hopefully Hassel-Dean has taken note from Split 1. Oh, and the Porsche right out on the outside there, and that's going to be an E for the BMW. The Porsche far more nimble through the corners, but the BMW very easily getting it done. Again, let's just hope that he has learned the lessons from Split 1 and puts enough fuel in the tank to actually make it to the end. Duo George, I want to quickly jump down to the GT4s, because at the start there was a couple of big moves, and it is Stone that's leading the way. I think McCallum who is in third. I think he jumped quite a few places at the start. Unless I'm wrong, or boosted Blake, but somebody definitely popped out right on the start and made up a couple of places before we even got to turn number 1, I think.
Yeah, that is a good question. I'm not quite sure. I think Matt McCullum's lost a couple of positions. He was qualified on pole for Group 4 category, and then it was Xander Stewart, who's in P2, and then Luke Stone. So Stone, I think, might be the culprit there. I think he's the one who's popped out and had a great run.
Yeah, I think he could well have, and it's been a very good run. The soft tyres looking very good on the car as well. Oh, which is wow, look at that, an American car that can turn. The Honda is absolutely hunting up down, so I can't ever let that joke go. I really can't. I mean, it was a train girder, for goodness sake. What a thing to make a chassis from. No wonder it only went in a straight line. The Lamborghini, of course, doing well in split 1 is McCallum, who is doing well again in split 2. But that is, yep, you're right, that is boosted Blake behind him. We've also got a GT3 Mazda. Look at the pace difference. I love the sound of that Mazda engine as well. It is just absolutely incredible. It completely listen. I mean, that's just absolute early 90s Formula 1 vibes right there, George, and I'm absolutely here for it.
It's wild. And this is a rotary engine as well, so this thing really does scream. I mean, if we had a look at the RPM on this thing, I'm sure we'd be up there past 10,000. Whoa! Campbell Knowles expertly making his way through the traffic. He really understands the difference in pace between the cars, and that is a tricky place to come from when the GT4 cars were all packed up really close to themselves at the beginning of the race. And so he's made his way on through successfully. Excellent work by Campbell Knowles, and we return our attention to the Group 4 category. And it looks like everyone has started on soft, so no one making that sort of, I don't know if we want to call it a mistake, but let's just see. I mean, it's not a mistake from Water Arrow. He did win the race, but we think he could have been slightly further ahead of Ando at the beginning. But no one, as far as I can tell so far, has started on those medium tyres. Certainly the top 3 in each of the categories. Wide line there for Boosted Blake, and that's Blake Williamson, of course, for Colin Racing Team and the McLaren. Ahead of a Ferrari, John, I'm noting, on track at the moment. We'll see what Scott Taylor can do, team owner of Gridline Racing, and they are in the forefront to be the manufacturer master at the moment. They are 28 points clear of second place, which is the Chevrolet of Hooncorp Esports. We'll see if Ferrari can bring it home today. But currently, chasing down potentially a top 3 finish in the Group 4 category. That'd be good for him. Gopin Mahidaj at second place at the moment in the Group 3. He's looking down the rest of the field. It is Michael Brill in 14th. Shane Attard in that lovely GTR, as John likes to say. And Bruce the Shark, Glenn Mead, who's had a real fall from grace on this one. He's actually started on the medium tyre, so I'll eat my hat right now. By the way, just before I throw it back over to you, One Bite Racing, got to give a shout out to Glenn Mead. I visited him at the Canterbury Off-Roading Club over the weekend, and I had a great time being part of his pit crew as he went for a real-world race drive in his car, which now has the TrackSpotTV logos adorned on it. So big thank you for them. Our first real-world sponsorship for TrackSpotTV, and it was a lot of fun with Glenn and his son out there on track. Very, very rainy, very, very wet, but we're Cantabrians. We're used to it. Anyway, that is the order of it at the moment. He's on the medium, so I assume that he'll be going for a bit of a longer stint this time out. The battle, though, in the meantime, at the top is starting to heat up.
It really is, yeah, and I'm hoping that Glenn Mead double stints those tyres just so that we see more than one person do it and it can be proven that it is an actual strategy and not just something that a useless commentator or certainly useless driver came up with. Mahindra, he's taking the fastest lap in the early stages. He's almost taken a Honda badge out there as well. The accuracy on the braking and just the sheer lack of fear and confidence that these drivers have in the abilities. Mahindra has just gone quicker again with a 2-minute 8.2. I mean, that is just, it's quite the sight, isn't it? Being chased by the championship leader, and he's setting fastest laps behind you, but Matt Dernetti is no slouch, and he is certainly not shy when it comes to doing a bit of racing. I've had the pleasure of presiding over a few of his races so far, and he can certainly handle the wheel, that is for sure. And again, Mahindra, he's behind him, George. He's in second place and he's still setting fastest lap on fastest lap on fastest sector. It is just an absolute masterclass, but it's also a huge testament as well to Dernetti's handling of the car and ability to defend. How did he even hold on to that, George? Come on, please.
These guys are so on the limit. I mean, a knife's edge, well and truly. And one little bit over the edge on any direction, a little bit of extra counter steering one way or the other, and they're going for a spin. If that was me and I did that in a GT3 car, I'd be around in a wall crying. Absolutely unequivocally. But yeah, Dernetti's been fantastic. I mean, in this series, he's had a bit of a slow start, let's be honest. Round 1 trial mountain was a disaster for him, but he's a man who's really starting to stretch his legs in terms of the different platforms he's racing on. He's in the AGT season for ACC as well. He's come second place, second only to Simon Bishop, a GT World Series driver, who's also going for the, oh, that's an overtake, and Gr.3 has done it in the place that is probably the best overtaking spot on the track. It is turn 10, wide line entry, just for the, or shallow line entry, I should say, for Gr.3, and that is a textbook overtake. But Matt Dernetti, he's no slouch. He's up there with the top drivers in Oceania, and he is going to bring the fight, no doubt, back to Ferrari, who's looking, oh my goodness, sideways is the descriptive word right there.
It is, yeah, and I tell you, all the while that's been going on, that is Nick Pfaff, who is very faffing close. It is for sure the genius, as I do like to say, I've been mandatorily told I have to say, is in third place. And I'll tell you what, it's safe to say that he's got a bit of Honda slipstream that's pulling him along through turn 1 and into turn number 2 as well. And I'll tell you, this is now what I would consider a three-way battle for the lead, and it soon could become 4, because Lewis looks like we've got maybe had a little dose of narcolepsy for Captain Snooze. He has been overtaken once again by Lewis. So Lewis back up to 4th place, George. He's setting personal best sectors. 4-way battle for the lead in the final round, anyone?
I told you split 1 was stacked. I told you it's stacked, and we got 5 of the best drivers in the season all racing here. The championship order is, oh, that's Matt Dernetti in the wall. He is in the wall at 90 degrees. Welcome to the Shadow Realm for Yugen Global, and he's not even able to get going yet. There we go. He does reverse out now that the traffic has passed him. What has happened there? He's cooked it on the entry to the bridge.
Wow, well, yeah, he's cooked on the entry to the bridge. We did say, Isaac and I touched on this at the start, we saw a couple of drivers, I mean, every car at one point had a wiggle on that entrance to the bridge, and that is more than just a bit of a wiggle for Matt Dernetti. He was holding point at the front of the field, only just lost out to Mahinjahit, who is setting incredibly quick and consistent laps. One slight mistake, and that leads to another, and wow, that is a monster double tank slapper and a testament to the wrist strength of Matt Dernetti. I don't care what kind of wheel he's on, that was full grip. And I tell you, he's got the Mazda of Airborne now potentially closing in on him. So once again, Dernetti is going to have to come for a monster charge back through the field, like we saw in the last 2 rounds, George. Of course, the night round as well found himself on a monster comeback drive. His headlights cutting through the pit lane more times than he would have planned, and that makes it an interesting one. And Captain Snooze is back up to 4th, George.
Wow, Captain doesn't need to do anything. He can just have a little snooze in 5th place, and then now he's in 4th, and then who knows? Might find himself on the podium by the end of this race. We shall see. But yeah, Matt Dernetti, I'm absolutely gutted from him. He does come into the pits. He's got too much damage, needs to pit. Only 17 litres of fuel. We're at lap 6 now, so softs are, if you look after them, will last. But the fuel tank is the real issue for these GT3 cars. But Matt Dernetti, it's all come unstitched, and this has given me a deja vu back to round 1, Trial Mountain, where it was an absolute disaster. And I do get the feeling, we know how good Dernetti is. These are uncharacteristic mistakes from a man with that amount of skill. And yes, he's still up and coming. Yes, he's still got things to learn in these cars compared to these aliens. But boy, oh boy, I think he's ruining the Yugen Global Honda choice there. The Honda is a very difficult car to drive in any game. It's that I think it's electric powered in this one, but I'm not even sure. Don't ask me about the characteristics of the car in terms of what's underneath the hood, but certainly the rear end of the Honda, really short wheelbase, MR style car. And boy, oh boy, that rear end just comes loose, and I suspect that's probably what happened there. You put the power down, a lot of torque in that Honda engine, and that is it. Your day is suddenly ruined, and for Matt Dernetti, he's got a big battle on his hands. Can a strategy call maybe fix this? I don't know. If he goes onto the mediums, full tank of fuel, could he make it to the end? It'd be a struggle, I think, John.
Indeed, yeah, well, I can confirm he did take on a full tank of fuel. I was fastidiously keeping an eye on that. He did fill it up to 100 litres, so he is gone softs. Well, okay, so yeah, so you're Matt Donetti, fill up to the end. Okay, it increases the average weight of the car over the race, so potentially have a slower average lap time, but he could look to just change tyres on the next pit stop and even just take on a minuscule amount of fuel. As you touched on, George, the soft tyres are lasting not too bad, and in the hands of someone like Donetti, he could work his magic. I mean, he's as you say, he's only just getting into the game, but what a starting platform he's given himself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what we see with the ACC drivers. They often do that, where they go, right, well, I'll just take a full tank of fuel, I'll run it all the way through, why not? And then I'll just do a quick stop for tyres. And that's exactly what you can do here. It's 10 litres of fuel per second, so the fuel is very cheap for refueling, but it's an extra stop. It's a very long pit lane and pit straight as well, so you're losing more. The more time you're sitting in that pit stop, you're losing extra amounts of time on a long lap like this. So you're right. I think that's probably the way that Donetti needs to think about it. Oh, the number 2, sideways yet again. Gopi, in quotes, sideways Mahindajit, is absolutely going for it. And I think he's a little bit aware of that GTR just behind him.
I think he is absolutely aware of that. He's going to be fully aware of the bottom of his seat as well, that is for sure, because that was squeaky bum time, as they say. He was eating upholstery because that was very close indeed, the Ferrari driver. And we've already seen one of the aliens drop himself to the back of the GT3 pack, and we almost saw another one. Nick Pfaff in the GR has been gifted second place. He was almost gifted first there. And in fact, I think Nick's had a bit of an issue as well. He's 1.2 seconds down on his sector time.
He must have.
Now, well, I was just about to say that, George, but I looked down, he's got half the front left tyre. We're 7 laps in. I think a couple of these tyres might be starting to do a bit of the old Rio de Janeiro cliff diving.
Yeah, I think you're right. A bit of parachuting off the cliff, and hopefully he doesn't hit the cliff, as we've seen other people do today, unfortunately. But certainly a successful parachuting down the cliff is in order here. A heavier car with the Nissan GTR as well, so that does mean that they often find themselves on the wrong side of grip, certainly compared to some of the lighter cars on the grip, but plenty of power in the car to make up for that for Nick Pfaff, and he's been using that very effectively today and in the rest of the series that we have seen. No massive results to his name, but a man who's always up there on the podium. Lewis is in 3rd place on the 151 car, and Hooncorp Esports in 2nd place in the team's title, so they might not be the manufacturer masters, but they're certainly a runner-up at the moment, and if they bring home a decent result today, Luke Stone was leading the Group 4 category. We'll check in with the Group 4s in a few moments' time, but a top 3 finish here for Lewis will certainly help to secure Hooncorp Esports in this role. And they've been a real force to reckon with since they entered the MotorMotion E-Series races and series that we run here at MotorMotion E-Series through the last year and a half or so. Just continue to spread themselves out as they recruit drivers and get on board. So great to see Hooncorp Esports now here in MotorMotion E-Series as well, and in the Manufacturer Masters. Close call there for him. Very low fuel, very low tyres, and nearly an entry to the Shadow Realm there. Yukimoto, anyone?
Oh, that was very Kiboto as he landed in the river underneath the bridge there. That was, yeah, as you say, an exceptionally light car at the moment. The petrol tank is red. 8 laps in, so the start of lap 9 for the drivers to come out with fresh tyres. Although Isaac and I were left eating slight humble pie at the amount of laps that the drivers managed to get when the petrol tank was in the red. I don't think we're going to see them squeeze another one, but actually, surely not. It is a 4-mile lap, 7 kilometres. It is a long one. 209, wow, 209.1 for Captain Snooze. That's some good times. 208.6 he set as well. Wow, 208.6. That's only 4/10 off the fastest lap of the race, George. That is a very, very, very quick time. It shows you just how strong this split one is.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of those things as well when you're that close in terms of the difference in your personal best at the top time. It really can just come down to a simple mistake. One little bit of damage here or there, an extra second sitting in the pit stop, and you are suddenly finding yourself catching up instead of falling away from the people in front of you. So 2:10.9. So you can see the soft tires are quite dramatically dropping off that cliff at the moment. Parachutes will be pulled at some point once they do run into the pit lane. And now lap 9 of 26. That leaves us with 17 laps of racing left in this incredible season 1 of the Manufacturer Masters. So we shall see. Hasseldean in 5th place at the moment, also running on fumes. Let's see if anyone's going to have that little jerry can sitting in their passenger seat. So far, looks like everyone is kind of going for it. And the second... Is that a second pit stop? No, it's the first pit stop for Airborne. He's been carrying that damage since the early accident on lap 1 that saw him drop to the bottom of the entire grid behind the Group 4s. And there is that lovely Mazda pulling in. The 38 car for Lightning Motorsport jumping in. Tires get taken off and fuel will go in, coming with 4 litres. So he'll probably put quite a bit of fuel in there as Matt Donetti goes on by through the pit lane. Still a lot of work for this man to catch up on. But doing well on tires so far, I think.
Yeah, I think he is. He is managing those softs quite well. I mean, it's a quarter of a tank and barely any wear. And he too is in the 209s as well, fairly consistently, and he's clocked himself at a 208.6, so exactly the same fastest lap time almost as Captain Snooze that we were looking at a moment ago. So yeah, very close between the field. I'll have to stop talking when the rotary goes past. It just squeals motorsport. It really does.
I think we need a follow-up series to this where everyone gets in the Mazda Group 3 and just goes hell for leather and just let's just have a listen. There won't be any commentary. It'll be a no commentary stream. We'll be just sitting there enjoying it. Matt McCullum now up into the lead of the Group 4 class. I think his competitors may have come in for a pit stop. Yeah, there we go. So Booster Blake hasn't pitted yet. That's Gridline Racing Scotty hasn't come into the pits. Shane Attard onto the pits. Bruce Shark running long. And then, yes, you're right, Scozy. So Xander Stewart has come into the pits, and he is the one who's pulled the trigger, as has Michael Brill, as has our former race leader in Group 3 category, Luke Stone, who I think he's had a bit of an issue. Wow, a bit of ghosting there as well.
Yeah, so Luke Stone, interestingly, taking on 43 litres. Look at that. Lewis, Nick Pfaff and Gopi Mahindajit all into the pits with 0 fuel.
Wow.
And they've taken on different amounts of fuel as well, which is about what I was about to comment on in the GT4s. We saw GT4s, one took on 100 litres, one took on 58 litres.
Wow, you're right.
And Pfaff is, yeah.
Yeah, Pfaff's taken on less.
So he's gone for a plan 2 stop on the soft. So he's going to do another 10 laps because that's exactly what he's just done. Gopi Mahindajit is out on the mediums on a full tank. I think we know what he's going to be to do. He's going for the 1 stop. Let's see what Lewis has got under his hood at the minute. Half a tank with soft tyres, George. The plot thickens. Strategy. This is what we'll love.
That's right. The plot thickens and the cello and the bass section starts to play. The thunder is rolling. Here we go. Strategies start to diverge and the race starts to get very, very interesting and very exciting. That is actually something we've seen Gopi Mahindajit do before. Go for this 1 stop. He seems to have real confidence in himself just to manage the tyres and manage the fuel all the way to the end. But, you know, thinking about it, it makes total sense. We didn't see any of the other strategy masters like Andrew Scott go for that. He went for the 2-stop strategy, softs 3 times on his car. Nearly worked out for him to get the race win. We saw Water Arrow, who won Split 2 earlier on today. He started on the medium tyre, dropped 5 positions, went onto the softs, gained 5 positions back, and then went on the softs again. So fascinating to see Gopi Mahindajit, who's unequivocally the leader of the Group 3 category this season, choose the medium strategy, and running long he will be, but he'll have Nick Pfaff just diving away, so no slipstream gain for Gopi Mahindajit at all, and Lewis is going to be right there in a few moments' time. So yeah, cue the Jaws music, the plot has thickened, and Gopi Mahindajit is going to have to hope that he's got enough pace while he's saving those tyres and saving the fuel. He doesn't need to save the fuel, but certainly saving the tyres throughout this rest of this race. 16 laps, he needs to make sure he's still within a gap so that when these guys come into the pits, he's still there and in first place.
Yeah, and race fan, sorry, can we jump back on? I just want to highlight something there quickly. Oh no, we're going to see an overtake. I want to watch Mahinja and Lewis here. If you are an aspiring race driver and you want to know how to race, this is how you race, okay? And what I'm talking about here is Mahinja hit, letting Lewis past effectively. He's still going to put up a bit of a battle, but it's all about picking those battles. He knows he's on the medium tyre. He'll do his best to defend against Lewis, but he knows that Lewis has got the soft tyre, he's got the advantage, and he's on a different strategy, which is effectively a different race. It's all about picking your battles, and as I say that, someone hand me the soup ladle. I'm going to need that to eat the amount of humble pie that Gr.3 and the Ferrari is absolutely throwing down my neck at the minute, but again, there you go, the soft tyre, the slipstream, the Corvette, the Encore machine, up the inside. He's going to have all the grip he wants, and he is going to take that position. So yeah, Gr.3 defending for all he could, but there is not much you can do against that prime tyre. But again, George, this is where you see the race IQ really come in. There's no point in picking a fight at this stage against what is effectively a faster car. He's in this for the long haul. He needs to look after the tyres. You need to pick your battles, and this is one he's not going to win, so why waste any effort on it?
Exactly. You're just losing overall race time, and I think that's something that newer players sometimes struggle a little bit with. Oh, that's a bit of a scary situation. Luke Stone and Xander Stewart close out on track. We'll cover the Group 4s in a few moments' time. Both of the Group 3 cars, Lewis and Gr.3 making their way through very cleanly. But you're right, this is something that newer drivers, 2 seasons and league racing and even daily races in Gran Turismo 7 don't necessarily realize you've got to avoid the fights, especially when someone's on a different strategy, I should say, on a better tyre, but a different strategy to you, because you're focusing on the overall race time. That's the key thing. And if you're overtaking, going back and forth, going sideways, it's exciting fun. But if you're trying to win a race, you need to be looking at those overall times, not your individual laps. That said, Gr.3 Mahinja's got enough skill on board that Ferrari and in his wrists that he can kind of do both at the same time. He can have his fastest lap and he can win races at the same time while managing his overall race time. So we shall keep a close eye on it. Fantastic stuff and good racing by these two. Very sensible navigation of the blue flag traffic as well by both of them. And you can see that Gr.3 Mahindra knew that he had a moment. He dived up the inside of Michael Brill before the bridge, and that was all done. So take note, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to Gran Turismo 7, have no fear. Watch MotorMotion E-Series and learn a thing or two from these top tier drivers. They're doing an absolutely fantastic job. John, let's go and talk about Group 4s because we have not covered them enough.
No, indeed we have not, and we are just about to cover them coming into the pits. And McCallum, well, completely different strategy from the GT3 Lambo. He is going for a one stop by the look of it. In fact, he will be going for a one stop. He's managed to get those soft tyres. 11 laps. We've already seen quite a few of the GT4s coming in. Again, big mix of the strategies, with some of them taking a full tank, some of them only taking a half tank. There's Airborne back in the pits. Oh no. Let's quickly check that and then come back to the GT4, shall we, George? Because that is one time.
Oh, damage.
Oh.
In fact, John, that is a massive accident. That is front and rear damage. So, it's come unstuck for the Mazda driver.
It really has, yeah. I was going to say it must surely be damage that he's in for. He's going to take himself a fresh set of tyres and run to the end of the race as McCallum comes in for his first pit stop. We'll see what Stone and Scozy can do about that, but they've got a fair old battle on their hands at the minute. Bruce the Shark is closing in the Audi once again. Glenn Mead getting it done, and he's going to get another lap at least out of that petrol tank. Incredible effort as the Corvette in second place in the GT3s goes past there as McCallum overtaken. He's got himself 3/4 of a tank, so he is going to be running to the end, and he's behind Bruce the Shark, but he is ahead of Stone and Scozy, which was definitely mission number 1 because they're already on a used set of softs. I think McCallum has played this absolutely perfectly, George, because those softs, as good as they are on the GT4s, the cliff is calling before McCallum's mediums are going to see any type of wear at all.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the optimal strategy really is here. It really just depends on how you're driving the car at the end of the day, I think. And that's a fantastic note here for this Manufacturer Masters series. Every single car type, and we've got 16 different car types total in the championship. We'll see at least 8 different cars, manufacturers and models per lobby. And they all handle differently. They all do something different. And then you've got to factor in the driver's skill and what they're good at. Are they good at looking after tires? Are they good at looking after fuel? Or do they just go absolute foot to the floor and just absolutely send the car around the track? It all comes into play. And so you see these magical strategies start to evolve. Matt McCullum's done incredibly well there. He started in first place, dropped to third, and then has come back and is now up in the lead. Provisionally, of course, technically in the lead, I should say, provisional lead is currently with Glenn Mead, who's doing his half-half strategy and executing it really, really well. I mean, that's to a T, John. He's going to get onto the 13th lap. He's going to pit. He'll go potentially onto another set of racing medium tires. This is reminding me of what he did in his stock UTC car over the weekend at the Canterbury Off-Roading Club. Did a half-half strategy. I was there in the pit lane to help refuel and to give him the thumbs up and tell him he's doing good. And so he's executing the same thing here, except slight difference. There's a little bit of tarmac involved this time, which is, I'm sure, to his pleasure, because that
he's back
stuff.
in the pits.
Oh no, airborne. Oh, he's hit the damage again. Look at that. The front end's gone, and a penalty. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, if it wasn't for bad luck, the Mazda driver would have no luck at all in this race. And yeah, that is a fair bit of damage had to be repaired there.
Wow.
No fuel taken on. Yeah, that was 6 litres of fuel between accidents.
Wow, that's
just to put that in perspective.
It's 2 laps. Yeah, it's absolutely nothing. Wow, well, what can you say about that situation other than commiserations to Camel Knowles? He's not got himself in that Mazda wrangled at all. In fact, really, it's the car driving him rather than him driving the car, or maybe the circuit's just taking control. Jesus take the wheel at this point, I think, for the Mazda, and it's just all gone completely sideways for him. In the meantime, the battle for third, the current third, actually technically the battle for second, between Luke Stone and Xander Stewart continues to evolve. These guys pitted a little bit earlier than Matt McCullum, but they are royally in a great battle at the moment. Xander just trying to psychologically pressure his opponent.
Indeed he is, yeah. The Honda is absolutely putting on the pressure, but we've already seen what can happen to Hondas at this racetrack. So Scorsese will do well to tread wisely and carefully. He certainly looks like he's got the pace over Stone at the moment. He's absolutely hunting him down as both of them have a huge wiggle on the way onto the bridge. How does the suspension travel cope with that at that speed? I mean, is that your fast bump or your slow bump? Which one of the bumps is it that is being used to correct a car in that situation? Because it is absolutely mind-blowing. And I tell you, it could be a mighty McLaren. Boosted Blake just cresting the hill there in the background. He could be looking at these two cars unsettling themselves onto the bridge and thinking, yep, crack on, chaps. I'm here to watch this one. Oh, that's the MotorMotion Porsche, I believe, George.
It is, and I think if I jump up here, yeah, that was Richard Robinson. And what a weird place to do that. That is on turn 8, the exit of turn 8. He must have hit the wall and then gone absolutely sideways into another barrier and then backwards into another barrier. So Robinson and Airborne, the GT3 cars, who, to be honest, they've got great pace on them. And they should really be up there with these other drivers in GT3 in terms of where they're positioned in this race, but not today. They are solidly in the shadow realm, and that is a real shame to see, especially for the MotorMotion team. Brand new, debuting as well here at the Manufacturer Masters, and the 20 car finds the barrier.
Indeed, yeah, and as he does, that is Bruce the Shark coming into dock. Terrible joke, but yeah, 2 litres of fuel he had left in the Audi, 13 laps in, so he did make it to the halfway mark in that Audi. Tell ya, the strategy of the season has been one thing. The petrol tank in that Audi should be scientifically examined, because that is incredible. Brucey then, he's going to come back at the pits in 4th place behind Boosted Blake in the Macca, and on a decent, I think he's on a run to the end as well.
I think he is,
Bruce
yeah.
has gone for the softs.
He has, which is interesting because I thought he would have just gone mediums, run it to the end. Same stint, same timing, same race. 50% to the 100% marker there. But he has decided to go for the softs. So we shall see if he's able to make them last. I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably going to have a better time of it on the softs, changing them onto them at this point in the race rather than some others. And we've got McLaren driver here. He's changed onto the softs quite early. Xander Stewart's on the medium, so he'll be good. And then the racing softs of Luke Stone. Looking gone is the word.
Raced.
Yes.
I would say the racing softs are not going to be so soft because they're going to be on the rims pretty soon. But he obviously did plan for a two-stop strategy, so he is going to fall back down the order again. It's the top 8 in each championship that's in each field this evening, and this is why they're top 8 in the championship. The strategy, the driving. And yeah, Mahinja hit back up at the GT3s. I was just about to say that. Race director reading my mind there. He's pretty good at this on occasion. Just don't tell him I said that. But yeah, the Ferrari driver in 3rd place on the mediums. And again, those things as expected, looking absolutely solid at this stage. And yeah, just by the fuel, he's easily going to make it. Lewis not too far ahead of him. So he's not really broken away as much as he would have wanted. Oh my goodness me, George.
Oh no, we've got to go and have a look. Okay. Oh, it's damage again. Campbell Knowles. I don't know what to say, and that is genuinely a surprise. That is the 3rd pit stop we've seen him do. He's had 4 incidents of damage now on that car. Gets it repaired, change of tires, no fuel in the car, out again. I do wonder if it's worth us going on board a lap and just trying to find out what's happening to him and where this is actually happening. So why don't we do that? A quick note up the top. Obviously, Lewis Pfaff on the soft tyre going for the 2-stopper. They have not built that gap enough, John, at all. So let's go on board and let's talk about that because Gopi Mahinajit is, I think he might have talked to One Bite Racing to understand how he can lurk in the background and just wait for the opportune moment to strike. I think Gopi has absolutely nailed this.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. He's got his strategy fully spot on. Pfaff and Lewis have both tried to go for a 2-stop, hoping that the soft tyre, that is very close. I think it's the bridge entrance, George. I think he's bouncing off the left and taking the rear on the right-hand side and finding himself the wrong way. The Mazda is quick in a straight line. The downforce and the suspension could well be working against him. Might even be hooking it on the tyres there. But yeah, Gopi up at the front in the Ferrari. He's been flawless this season. And it looks like he's going to be flawless again tonight. Fueling himself all the way to the end. Lewis and Pfaff, as you said, they've nowhere near built up enough of a gap to get themselves that much needed free pit stop. They've swapped positions, George. Lewis and Pfaff have swapped positions. Pfaff is in 3rd place. He's tumbling down the order.
Oh, that's a big accident for Nick Pfaff. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And he's actually gone. That's it. Nick Pfaff is out. He's retired the car instantly on track. I think that must be a hardware failure, John. Something has gone massively, massively wrong for Aston Racing and Nick Pfaff this race, and he was in the lead. Potentially could have stayed ahead of Gopi as well after a pit stop and would have been on the fresh tyre, so he was in the best position out of the 2 of them. And what we thought, John, was going to be a 5-way battle between our top drivers. We've had Matt Zanetti remove himself, and unfortunately, fate and the universe and technology, or a solar flare of some kind, has removed Nick Pfaff from the last round of this series. I'm absolutely gutted for him.
Yeah, absolutely devastated. He was definitely battling for podium honours here in the final round. And yeah, technology, whether you're racing sim or real, technology is what everyone relies on. And yeah, Nick has been thrown firmly under the bus and back into the pits, and he is out of the race. It's funny you mentioned Matt Zanetti there as well, actually, because I just happened to look down. He's back up to 4th. And let's make sure we haven't slept on Captain Snooze. Yeah, not more tumbleweed. I'm going to try and leave them alone, but I probably won't. But he's on the podium. We did talk, George, about the potential for bringing home a podium. He now just needs to avoid the last round narcolepsy and bring the car home. But the Jag looking very, very, very good stage, and some really good lap times as well, considering he's on the mediums.
Yeah, this is equivalent to playing like learn a language in your sleep. You learn it while you're sleeping. I think this is the equivalent of that. He's doing his thing, and he's being Nathan Wakefield. He's being Captain Snooze. He's doing his thing. He's being consistent out there. And we've talked over and over again, not just in this series, but every single series. It's a racing driver staple. Consistency is so important. And often, if you find yourself consistently out of the weeds, in the good lap times, and well, that was a little bit of a mistake there. I'll have to eat my hat slightly, but still, 99.9%, and we're good. What has happened?
Lewis is coming for his second pit stop with damage.
He has indeed. And actually, that's a good note because I think we saw Gopi ahead of him before the pit lane light lit up.
Yep.
Wow.
Indeed, we did, yes.
Goodness. So, St. Croix officially renamed as the Giant Slayer today. Wow.
Indeed, yeah. Incredible stuff. And there's Matt Dernetti in for his second pit stop. I'd love to, look at his soft tyres.
Yes, racing gons is what we're going to
Sorry, look at his rims.
Yes,
that's off his left there. There ain't no tyre. My apologies. Fake news brought to you by the Scottish commentator. But yeah, that's him back out 64 litres. And there's Hazeldine in now. Let's see if the BMW takes on enough fuel to get to the rest of it. Yeah, there we go.
Well, he's got damage as well.
Wow.
He had damage as well.
So he has.
Yeah, he's had it repaired. It wasn't much. It was just a front bumper, but I mean, that means that the only person without damage so far in the Group 3s has been Gopi Mahindra and Captain Snooze. And they're 1 and 2 in this race at the moment. And Captain Snooze, I mean, we were just talking about it, John. He's now up to P2 in this race. Fantastic stuff. This man has done absolutely nothing than drive consistently and just not put himself into a barrier. And there you go. That's how I got my first podium in the ACC series I used to drive in. I did absolutely nothing. 3 cars crashed ahead of me. I just happened to be in 4th place. And there you go.
And that is a way to do it, I tell you. He's definitely a bit of a sleeper agent. Yeah, not more tumbleweed. Is Captain Snooze.
Oh, we're having fun with this one. And we hope you all are in chat as well. This has been... we were expecting something slightly different this race, John. Let's be honest. We've seen something else, but it's been just as entertaining.
Oh, it's been beyond entertaining. This is exactly what motorsport is all about. It is a high-speed, high-risk, high-reward endurance event, even for 26 laps around the course's length. And it is an absolute testament to the talent out there. And yeah, it throws it all into the mix. We'll love the overtaking, we'll love the strategy calls. It is unfortunate drivers make mistakes. It is the nature of the beast. People make mistakes in sporting events. It's how they recover from them that often brings the huge entertainment. Certainly Matt Dernetti, he is on a comeback. I'll tell you what, when he crashed out, George, if you'd have said to him there and then, Matt, we'll give you... In fact, no, I'm wrong. I was about to say, if you said we'll give you 4th place, you'll take your hand off for it. It's Matt Dernetti. He still wants the race win. He still wants a podium. Lewis needs to be looking over his shoulder because Matt... I don't think he's done it. If he can tame that Honda, it could be a close call come the end for the podium. We've still got 7 laps to go, George.
Yeah, still plenty of time. And I think, your point is very pertinent because while we're on Matt Dernetti, this man has been the master of recovery throughout the entire season. Trial Mountain didn't go his way, but every other race he seems to have had an issue and then suddenly driven back into the podium positions. I do get the feeling that when things go wrong for Matt Dernetti, he just flicks a switch somewhere. There's a boost mode that goes on in his brain and his wrist, and he just suddenly goes for it. And so, you see incredible pace out of him. He's got the clean air. He's not having a race around people. Gets the focus in. What do they call it? The focus eye, or I can't remember the flow state. He gets into the flow state. And then he just goes for it, and he recovers beautifully in these races. So despite not having the results this season, hasn't really found a proper, consistent result throughout the season. His recoveries have been second to none. And that is definitely something to be proud of. And since we've seen absolutely everything, we should probably crown a champion for a recovery master of the manufacturer masters as well. And that certainly would go to Jürgen Global and Matt Dernetti. Looking down the rest of the field, let's cover off and see where everyone's at with 7 laps to go in this race. Mark Hazeldine, the leader of Hasselblad Motorsport in the BMW. His teammate ran out of fuel at the end of split 1. just on the last lap too. Then Richard Robinson, who's had a bit of an issue out on track earlier on, has recovered on the medium tyre now. So we'll be running to the end of this race. Ooh, a little bit squiggly through the exit of the bridge. Then Airborne. Oh no, it's got even worse for Airborne.
Oh wow.
He's got engine damage, so he can't even accelerate in the car. So I'm out of words. Let's move on. We'll come back to Airborne. That is just unbelievably lucky. As you said before, John, if he didn't have the bad luck, he'd be devoid of all luck. Matt McCullum is damage-free and leading the Group 4 category at the moment in the Lamborghini. CP Motorsports might be on for back-to-back wins in their respective categories today. Matt McCullum will be potentially taking home the championship trophy for Group 4 as well. Then it's Xander Stewart, and he's got the McLaren sneaking up behind him. Then there's Bruce the Shark. So this is actually turning into a rather interesting battle. This is the battle for P2 in the Group 4 category.
Indeed it is, and the Group 4's bringing it on in stint 1. Oh, and he's going a bit inside the McLaren's heavy on the brakes. Bruce the Shark, he's taken one bite at it, and he has got himself up into third position. That is an absolutely solid move there by Bruce, and I tell you what, there is Scozy is not too far ahead either. Boosted Blake, oh wow, solid strategy call by all the drivers in the Honda, really putting it out there. There is Airborne back into the pits to get some damage, get some more damage repaired. Scozy though, he is in second place, and I tell you, he'd much rather be chasing the car ahead, but instead, and look at the fins on Bruce the Shark go. He is reeling him in at quite a pace. He's going to send it fully up the inside. Is he going to get it done on the brakes? He is indeed. The Honda is going to try for the cutback on the exit, but it's going to be to not over. Is it? And he's just held on to the track limits here, but I'll tell you what, that's the McLaren driver's way right back into this battle. Look how close it is. He goes for the switchback up the inside through turn number 4, the side by side. He's on the inside curve, manages to rotate the car, keep control. The Audi goes round the outside. The McLaren is now getting double slipstream from the two cars ahead, George. What a battle this is for the final podium position in the GT4s.
Oh, this is brilliant. I think my heart was going at about the rate as it would be if I saw a great white swimming up behind me in the ocean. And there we go, another little look for Xander Stewart. Doesn't quite make the move. And bear in mind, Xander Stewart's on the medium tyres, slightly older. Booster Blake's on older, even older, soft tyres. And Glenn Mead, Bruce the Shark, racing soft tyres for him. Plenty of fuel to get to the end of this race. And two back-to-back beautiful overtakes have put him up into second place. Rightly so, because he is currently, I believe, in third or fourth place in terms of the overall Group 4 standing. So this man, he has well and truly been a lurker in the water. He's just been hiding. We don't see him regularly, up there in terms of the races. He had a pretty good first couple of rounds, round 1 and round 2, and showing his off-roading prowess as well, running onto the grass. It's been a really, really good race from Glenn Mead. He's executed the strategy beautifully. 50% race distance, lasted on the mediums, had the little jerry can there in the Audi and the golf clubs, of course, to bat his opponents out of the way. Now finds himself in second place in the 999 car. This is fantastic work by One Bite Racing. They've got the strategy to a T right now and leaves the Honda and the McLaren to fight it out for third place.
Yeah, they are fighting over the scraps at the table of McCallum and Brucey at the moment. The Audi all conquering over the two of them there. The Honda definitely making his life difficult ever so slightly with a couple of off-track excursions. Certainly boosted Blake. He would have been slightly dampened by the... Oh, I tell you what, the Honda's just made another mistake on the exit to the last corner. Plenty of room on that track exit there, but the worn medium tyres really not serving the Honda as well as Scozy would have hoped at this stage. He's doing everything he can. He's maybe overdriving the car a bit much, trying to catch up and trying to keep with the Audi ahead. Maybe just needs to reel it in ever so slightly. To finish first, you must first finish, and Scozy is in danger of having a trip into the pits for damage before we see the end of the race, and that will definitely be detrimental to his finishing position, that is for sure, especially with boosted Blake so close behind in the McLaren. I give George a lot of stick, but there is very good reasons to be a McLaren fan. those things can absolutely shift. And if you open the door too wide, he'll jam his foot in there. That is for absolutely sure. Here comes some more blue flags. Bang on lap 20 again. We're seeing GT4s lapped over the bridge, just like we did in split number 1. These three all very close, and it is, as you would expect, Gopi Mahindajit that is catching up to them. His Ferrari teammate crossing the bridge as well. Again, just like we saw in split 1 earlier this evening with the two Astons on lap 20 and, well, 22 it is, of course, for the GT3s. So quite the coincidence, but it's yeah, certainly not a surprise here. He is catching up to the McLaren. And you can see actually a bit of a bigger gap there between the Honda and the McLaren, so it looks like he's gathered it in ever so slightly. It's so smooth up that inside line. But those three GT4s, they're certainly starting to spread out a bit now, George. Safe to say, Bruce the Shark absolutely lives up to the name. He is a top-tier predator.
Certainly is, and actually he got a bit compromised there. Mahindajit went very deep into turn 10. It's actually put One Bite Racing really back into the jaws of Xander Stewart, so we'll jump back on board with that battle as Mahindajit runs a little bit deep as well. I don't think it'll be anything that Glenn Mead can't handle. I mean, the medium tyre of Xander Stewart could still be the advantage. There's probably at least another 6 minutes to go in this race. Gopi Mahindajit will start the 23rd lap of this race now. Look at Xander Stewart, he's actually in the box seat. And the medium tyres, well, they'll be pretty effective at the end of this race compared to the softs. Little bit of exchange of paint between the two cars. Luckily, they're both white, so there won't be any evidence of that other than what we've just broadcast. Xander having a little look, trying his luck again against the Great White Shark. And of course, Yugen Global rocking the goldfish, or the koi fish, I should say, not the goldfish, the koi fish on the side of the car. Very Japanese-inspired team name and livery this season for them, going with the Honda theme for their championship drive. The question is, will Xander Stewart's mediums start to catch up to the soft tyres and the speed of Glenn Mead and the Shark that he is? And I tell you, at the moment, oh, it's a big lunge. It's a huge lunge up the inside, and he's ended up side by side, not successful in the overtake. And Glenn Mead is under so much pressure now.
He really is. He is absorbing the pressure well at the minute, but how much longer can he fend off the advances of the Honda? They're both on the soft tyres, and Boosted Blake, again, rubbing his hands together, figuratively, of course. They'll be firmly on the wheel, that is for sure. But certainly rubbing his hands together at what he's seeing ahead of him. The battle was spreading out a bit, but the blue flag interaction sees Brucey caught in Scozie's net. Yep, no, we're still going with the sharp jokes, and the Honda is piling on the pressure. 5 laps left, it says there, for the GT4s, but of course they are going to be at least 2 laps down on the GT3, so they've effectively got, what, maybe 3 laps left?
Yeah,
I would say, yeah, something along those lines, George.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's not long to go now, and these are the final laps of the Manufacturer Masters. It is round 6 out of 6. So this means we are basically coming up to the end of racing for the Manufacturers Masters for 2025. Season 1 has gone off absolutely beautifully, and we'll be talking to Jeff Bruin, the series organizer, I should say, for the Manufacturer Masters after this race, before we get to the final result. We've got a few cars coming through. And our penalty for Boosted Blake. That's really unfortunate. Not the timing he wanted. The McLaren in the mud for this one, sadly. But nonetheless, Boosted Blake will continue. Let's just take a look around the grid. Gridline Racing Scotty sitting down there. I think that's in 5th. It might be 4th. No, it's 5th. It is 5th, indeed. Then it's Luke Stone, whose race has gone from really bad to worse today. 3rd in terms of qualifying. And unfortunately, he just finds himself dropping down the grid. Got Michael Brill right behind him, and then the GTR of Shane Attard. Full grid here, were it not for Shane Attard's teammate Nick Pfaff having a mechanical issue in the car and having to retire from the race, an instant disconnect. Whoa! That is a little bit off-road, we should say. Grass on all 4 tyres there for him. And just running through the Group 3 order here on the 24th lap, Gopi Mahindajit on the racing medium tyres. Starting to look a little bit worse for wear, but well ahead of Lewis Atkinson, who had a bit of a crash on the racing soft tyres on the previous stint, now finds himself in second and a few corners behind. And actually, he's actually overtaken. Sorry, a little bit of confusion there for me in the commentary box. We had Captain Snooze, Nathan Wakefield for Black Rose Racing. In that Jaguar, he was in second place, having been essentially handed that by a number of competitors, Matt Donetti, Nick Pfaff, and Lewis Atkinson, all making mistakes. Now finds himself overtaken. He's on the racing medium tyre. He's going to the end. Can he hold off Matt Donetti? Yeah, he's got plenty of gap there at the moment. So Lewis back up into second place for Hooncorp Esports. Mark Hasseldine in fifth. Richard Robinson, who had a big crash early on. And then, of course, Airborne, who has been, definitely not track-borne today. He's been more in the wall than on the track, sadly. It's just gone from bad to worse, but maybe the last stint will be a little bit of a redemption. At the very least, John, he's ahead of the GT4 class, so you've got to take that. Oh, and here we go.
Oh, yes, indeed. Here we go. Bruce the Shark. He has been reeled in. He has been absolutely caught hook, line, and sinker there by the Honda. And it is Scozy for Eugen that is back up into second place. And I tell you, he's got those mediums absolutely dialed in. And Brucey, we've talked about it often enough this evening. His tyres have found the cliff. So the Shark is falling off a cliff instead of swimming in the water at the minute, and that is going to see the pace difference certainly go in the favour of Scozy, you would think. He's maybe timed this, yeah, he's got it absolutely perfectly timed, Bruce. Going for a good brave strategy call there, George, but not quite paying off. Scozy on the mediums, definitely in a good solid position here with maybe a lap or two to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite the fishing rod that Xander Stewart has brought out to the track today to catch Glenn Mead. But yeah, I did say it when we saw him jump onto the soft tyres after that epic stint one on the mediums for Glenn Mead, that maybe the medium tyre was going to be the play. And it would have put him in a situation where he had more tyre life on the mediums towards the end of this race, and that would have probably been better. But who knows, he may not have been able to catch up to these two, so it could have been even worse. Certainly he's got no pressure behind anymore from Booster Blake, who served the penalty, and I don't think he picked up any damage, but we'll double check on that in a minute. But Xander Stewart has held on beautifully with these medium tyres. The lap times are consistent, and that's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. It's overall race time is what you're looking at, and the soft tyres just fall off such a cliff. I mean, we've seen laps that are 2 or 3 seconds slower. Certainly the top aliens, when their tyres start to die out, they're over a second slower on worn soft tyres. It just makes me wonder if really the soft tyres, unless you're doing a two-stop, they're just not worth it. And this is why we see Mahindra now on the medium tyre. He's run the medium tyre for 16 laps or more, I think, actually 17 laps in this race. Started on the soft tyre to try and get track advantage, did so, then others started making mistakes around him, and then finds himself now up into a 1 second penalty for Campbell Knowles. But now finds himself up solidly in the lead and coming now onto the final lap of this race. And what a season, John. I mean, you know, look, at the end of the day, am I a Ferrari fan? You know, I'm a fan of all cars. That's the truth. Big fan of McLaren, of course. But Gopher Mahindra, I am a huge fan of his.
Yeah, it's hard not to be. He has got absolutely bucket loads of talent in every single department. He has taken more pole positions in qualifying than anyone this season. He's taken more race wins than anyone this season, and has taken more fastest laps than anyone. And I would be willing to bet folding money that if we looked at a lap consistency chart, he would be head and shoulders above the rest of an impressive field. So it is quite the performance. It has been a flawless flawless season number 1. Bring on season 2, and yeah, hopefully he's behind the wheel of a Ferrari again. He does make it very easy to be a Ferrari fan, George, but well deserved. And this is going to wrap up the championship for not only him but Ferrari as well, and solidly well deserved given the incredible all-round performance that he's put in over the 6 rounds.
That's right, yeah. If Formula One's getting you down as a Ferrari fan, come and watch MotorMotion E-Series, Gridline Racing, choosing the Ferrari for this season. Gopher Mahindra absolutely being world-class in this series, certainly. And his team owner, Scott Taylor, has been a note all the way through the Group 4 season as well, and he'll be a very proud owner of the team at the end of this race, I believe, because as I can I try and do the math in my head right now, but I believe this easily puts Gr.3 and Gr.4 on the top spot for Group 3 category overall for this season. And I think this also brings enough points to the Ferrari team, to Gridline Racing, to win the Manufacturer Masters. So you are watching well and truly the master at work as he comes through the final corner. And this is it. Round 6 is over. Gr.3 and Gr.4 looking on track to take home 2 championship trophies today. 1 for the team, 1 for himself. And Group 3 master is Gr.3 and Gr.4. Takes the checkered flag, and that is your race winner right there. What an absolutely brilliant performance in the number 2 car. It's Ferrari all the way, and John Wright is a happy man. And that's what matters most in the commentary box at the moment. Lewis Atkinson comes home in second place. Hooncorp Esports likely on for a second place finish in the Manufacturer Masters as well. Nathan Wakefield, what an absolutely nothing race from this man. I love it. It's brilliant. He's done absolutely nothing. No need to do an overtake. Just run your race, and there you go, a podium position for that man. Matt Donetti, 4th place for him. Jürgen Global will be a little bit disappointed with the race result today. What could have been a win, whoa, but a bit of flair to finish out the final round of racing from Matt Donetti, who has become an absolute staple in the oceanic driving sim racing scene. Hasseldine will be 5th, and then we go Matt McCullum, CP Motorsports in the Lamborghini. His teammate Water Arrow will be here in spirit, certainly, as he sees his teammate running across the line on the racing mediums and takes the Group 4 victory in round 6 for Split 2. Fantastic stuff. Xander Stewart, Matt Donetti's teammate, comes home in P2 for Group 4, and it is Glenn Mead, P3 for One Bite Racing. So, wow, fantastic stuff. John, let's go and look at the final results of today's race in Split 2. And there you have it. We will go through the results here for Group 3 and Group 4. Then we'll talk to Jeff Bruin, and then we'll get to the final results of the season. We'll talk to Jeff without revealing any of the juicy details of who's won. Gr.3 and Gr.4, though, on top, 20 points to his name. Got qualifying, didn't get pole position here. Did get the fastest lap, but we'll see about it. I'm not quite 100% sure, but nonetheless, 20 points to his name. Lewis Atkinson, P2. Nathan Wakefield, Matt Donetti, Hasseldine, Robinson Knowles, and Nick Pfaff with an unfortunate DNF at the end of the race. We have to talk driver of the day, and I just don't know where to put it because this is such a stacked lobby, and there's been some good performances. Honestly, I'm going to give it to Captain Snooze. Nathan Wakefield gets my vote today, John. He's did nothing out on track, which is absolutely my perfect race strategy, and still came home with a podium position, so well done to him. I think he started in 5th place. John, driver of the day for yourself.
I think my driver of the day today is going to be Campbell Knowles because he finished. He was in the pits more times this evening than some drivers have been in for the entirety of the season. He stuck it out and he made it to the end. That is the type of commitment that you absolutely love to see, even if you're having a bad day. You know what, every minute on track is a learning experience, and Campbell, as if he could get any better. Anyway, I'm sure he will learn from this and move on firmly. And yeah, just purely for the dedication, I'm going to give this one to Campbell Knowles.
Fantastic. I think that's a very honourable vote there for Campbell Knowles. And yeah, it is one thing to deal with all of that, damage that you've incurred, and obviously a track he's not familiar with. Boy, oh boy. Let us know in chat who your driver of the day is for Split 2 Group 3. As we move on to now the Group 4 results. And Matt McCullum on top for CP Motorsports, 20 points for him. I don't think CP Motorsports are really in it for the team's title, but Matt McCullum, I think, secures his position as the winner of Group 4. We'll find out a little bit later in the stream. Xander Stewart in P2 for Jürgen Global, 15 points. Glenn Mead for One Bite Racing, the Shark, who's ever present in our ears. 12 points for him. Blake Williamson, P4. Scott Taylor, P5. Luke Stone, Michael Brill, and Shane Attard, your top 8 for Split 2. In terms of driver of the day for this category here, I don't know. This is a really tricky one, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I think it's really, for me, it's between Matt McCullum and Glenn Mead, personally. I think Xander Stewart had a good race. I mean, the strategy worked out excellently. So, yeah, you know what? Xander Stewart's going to get my driver of the day today.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly where I was going to go as well. I mean, Matt McCullum didn't put a foot wrong. He was absolutely flawless. Xander Stewart, he had a bit of work to do, and it was up against One Bite Racing, who are where they are in the championship for a very good reason. Xander Stewart, yeah, got the strategy absolutely nailed on. Had to get the overtake done as well and brought the car home. So yeah, double vote for Xander from the comedy box for driver of the day from the final round.
Fantastic. Well, let us know in chat. You have been watching on the MotorMotion E-Series YouTube and the TrackSpotTV YouTube. We'll talk more about Manufacturer Masters and MotorMotion E-Series and TrackSpot at the end of the stream. For now, we get to head back to our commentary box here. Round 6, fantastic stuff, and we are about to have an interview with the series organizer before we jump into the final results. So hopefully all the technology works out in the background. And welcoming in Jeff Bruin into the commentary box. And mate, first of all, thank you so much for jumping into the commentary box. We really appreciate it. We won't take too much of your time, but from a series organizer perspective, hats off to you. What a fantastic series. So many different cars, so much action, so many different strategies. It's the first time you've run a series like this. Mate, congratulations on a fantastic season.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. And wow, what a last round. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. It's been a fantastic season. And yeah, not much more I can add to what you've already said.
Fantastic. Well, out of everything, any favorite moments, anything that particularly stands out for you?
I just think the dual class racing, the two different types of cars on track, and I guess the added friction of having to maneuver past slower cars and waiting for faster cars to pass you, I think just added a different dynamic to the series than what we've seen in MotorMotion before.
Fantastic. Well, I'll hand you over to John for some questions, and then we'll come back and round things out.
Yeah, indeed. Again, congratulations. An incredible series. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate over the races. And the format, as you said, you had the multi-class aspect, but we also had the manufacturer's choice. That was an absolute masterstroke. From your point of view, what brought you to that idea to try and change things up, and also how did the drivers receive that news that was going to be the format and take that?
Yeah, so it was decided that obviously being a manufacturer's masters that we would try to have as many on the track at once, especially for this inaugural season. And it was conducted by a lottery system where the team owners, basically let me know what their preferences were, and then we drew the cars by lottery, which I guess Gridline were pretty happy with their choice in the end. And we basically put the splits into, I guess, what we have a system in MotorMotion called the MotorMotion competitive ranking, as well as the performance per racing system, which sort of grades our drivers across a number of series in where they sit, and basically we just allocated the splits in relation to that, and then did a sort of round robin system. We have some kinks to work out, but the next season should be really good.
Yeah, absolutely can't wait. I have to ask, I don't suppose you would know, which manufacturer was requested by the most teams, do you think?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. And I think what we had was definitely the Ferrari was right up there for the choice, as well as the Lamborghini as well. We had a few people hustling over that, but yeah, it's definitely the MR cars seem to be the favourite for this series, that's for sure.
Right, and I know this is an even more random one, but I don't suppose you know which manufacturer that made it into the series, because of course there was more than 16 for the teams to choose from. Which manufacturer that made it into the series had the least votes, or was there anyone that was like, yeah, didn't get any of their three choices because they were all already taken?
Oh, that is an excellent question, and I can't answer that right now, but we did have to do that with one of the teams where the choices had already been taken, and I think I would say probably the Ford Mustang was the least selected in relation to teams wanting to drive it.
Right, okay. And yeah, final one for me, because I know you've not got long. Sorry, I really do just get right into these things. But yeah, or what was the question I was going for there? Yeah, how do you feel it went? Because it really is a phenomenal twist. And not only that, the drivers, that's what I was going for. Let's comment on the drivers, because it's all about, like you guys, you do all the planning in the background, you bring the series, and then the drivers, I mean, they've put on an absolute show, and the strategies as well. It's been an all-encompassing season.
Oh, absolutely, John. I agree. If we do this for the drivers and for the team owners, if they weren't here to drive, we'd have nothing to organise and to watch. The level of support around this series has been phenomenal from my perspective. It's been very well received, and I'm sure that when we look at kicking off the season 2, we'll hopefully have a couple of full lobbies in which we'll see, I guess, some different dynamics and some different strategies that play now that we've already have completed season 1.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Sorry, on you go, George.
No. On you go, John.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I was going to say, yeah, listen, again, thank you very much. It's been an incredible season, and I would strongly encourage anyone to get involved. It was quickly touched on there. The rating system that they have at MotorMotion is absolutely phenomenal. So you are guaranteed to be good, clean racing with people of a similar skill level. So I would genuinely, fully recommend getting yourself signed up and involved. If you're sitting on the fence, take the splinters out of your rear end, take the plunge, and get yourself over to their website and get signed up and get yourself involved. I've absolutely loved it, and I can't wait on season 2. Back to George finally.
Fantastic. I completely second that as well. And I think, Jeff, the structure of MotorMotion has changed over the last year or two. You've had different race series come in, different formats being trialed out. You've got 4 premier events now, the Carrera Cup, which is your entry-level event. You've got now the Manufacturer Masters. Then you've got the TCR Cup coming up later in the year, and then the GT3 Championships and the RCA system and the teams, and they all stay involved and people stay engaged with this series. And Manufacturer Masters is a great way to add in something 25-30% way through the year for people to engage with. And the 6-race format as well. So maybe talk to us just a little bit about how this series fits into the whole MotorMotion yearly calendar.
So we obviously GT3 is the premier series that we run here at MotorMotion, which is 10 rounds. 10 rounds is quite a long season, and TCR is of a similar length. So we wanted to look at something that was a little bit more easier to enter, didn't require as much, planning and strategizing for drivers and team owners, as well as for us as league owners. The capacity to run it. And Carrera Cup has been a resounding success for Dylan Scarborough in organising that, and I sort of took that as a bit of a framework to see what we could do for another 6-round series, but with a little bit of difference. We're having multi-class cars on the track to see how that dynamic turned out.
That's fantastic. And yeah, it's worked out beautifully. And so as a final note here, Jeff, before I hand it to you for any further and final comments from yourself, on behalf of TrackSpotTV, I'd like to thank you and the entire admin team at MotorMotion E-Series. You guys have allowed us to come on board as your broadcasting partner. You've allowed us to be the primary sponsor of the Manufacturer Masters, which is absolutely fantastic. And, we've all had a lot of fun. My entire team at TrackSpotTV, we've had a lot of fun commentating on this series. And the broadcasting side seems to have gone off mostly without a hitch. I'm sure we'll be tweaking and tuning things as we head into the rest of the year. But just a personal thanks to yourself for getting TrackSpotTV on board for this series.
Thanks, George. I appreciate that. And, if it wasn't for you guys coming on board as our broadcast partner and our primary sponsor for this series, no one would get to see what's happened out on track and enjoy what we've been able to watch over the last 6 weeks.
Indeed. All right, so a big thank you to Jeff Bruin, our series organizer for the Manufacturer Masters, one of the administrators at MotorMotion E-Series, for giving us insights into this. And I think the last question, Jeff, will there be a season 2?
George, there will be a season 2. I'll be taking all the feedback that we've received from team owners and drivers for this season, and coming up with a far more refined and engaging series for season 2.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Jeff Bruin. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Bruin, series organizer. He's enjoyed it as much as we all have. Big thanks to yourself, mate, for jumping into the commentary box for an interview as well. And that is going to conclude our interview. Now it's time to go and take a little look at some of the final results. And John, we'll get on through these. We've got some certificates coming up at the end as well. So we'll jump on through these final results. But here we go. We're going to start off with the Group 4 standings. And this is how it is. 115 points. Matt McCullum is your Group 4 winner overall for CP Motorsports in the Lamborghini. And then it's Xander Stewart and Glenn Mead. So in some ways, no surprise, but look how close Blake Williamson was at the end.
Indeed, yeah, only 2 points behind, and he was only 2 points ahead of Scott Taylor and Michael Brill. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at... I'm looking at the wrong page here, George. My apologies. I'm looking at the other screen. Yeah, Michael Brill on 68 points behind Scott Taylor was on 72. But yeah, incredibly close. Matt McCallum, though, a phenomenal series champion. And yeah, incredibly close down through the order, and certainly bodes well for that season 2 we've got coming up.
Certainly does. Scott Taylor 5th, Michael Brill, Luke Stone, Troy Britnell, and then the bottom part, the top 16. Shane Attard, David Crook, Steve Smith, Graham Splint, Mark Hogan, Mark Scarborough, Dylan Scarborough, and Bryce Kentwell. Now, over to the Group 3 standings. John, you want to make a prediction on this one? No, you don't need to. It's Gopi Mahindra. He's won it. But actually, he's won it with one less point than Matt McCullum won Group 4. So I think Matt McCullum is unequivocally the most dominant driver in the entire series overall, despite the fact that Gopi has been on our screens more so than most others. But it is Gopi Mahindra for Gridline Racing in the Ferrari, a fought-over car. Everyone wanted to be in it. And the top driver was in the Ferrari this time, 114 points. And then Lewis Atkinson gets his second place overall with a Hooncorp Esports in the Chevrolet. And it's Nick Pfaff by 2 points, John, over Mark Hasseldine.
Indeed, yeah, Hasseldine bringing home the BMW in 4th for the season. The Jag and the Honda, what a battle they've had all season, and only a point separates them at the end of the 6 rounds. Riley Nicholson in the much sought after Lamborghini as well finds himself on the same number of points as the Porsche, guided by Richard Robinson. I did say all series, the GT4s often provide the best racing action. Close on track and incredibly close in the championship. GT3, sorry, what am I talking about? The GT3s. Very close.
We love them both.
Yep,
that's the truth. We
love them both.
The rest of the GT3 standings look like this. Craig Hardcourt, Tony Griffin, Andrew Scott, who missed a number of rounds for me, Cougar, Campbell Knowles, and that is the last round to remember or forget, depending on whether you were watching or whether you're Campbell Knowles. Ricky Atwell in 13th, Nicholas Williams, Mitchell Cullen, and Aidan Chase. That is your top 16 standings in the Group 3. And John, I'll give you another guess at who might be on top for the team standings. Rhetorical question. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt again. Here we go. It's Ferrari on top. So congratulations are due to Gridline Racing. 186 points. It did end up being dominant for them at the top.
It did indeed, yeah. 186 points and a good gap over the Lamborghini. And the top 2 cars in the driver choice pool with the top 2 in the standings. No real surprise there. Honda bringing home 3rd place with Chevy only a point behind Honda after the 6 rounds. They've got a bit of breathing space back to Audi with Nissan. Only 4 points adrift, only 3 points ahead of Porsche, with BMW rounding out the top 8, George. 120 point total, not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. And CP Motorsports, big jump for them in the standings and taking 2nd place. Fantastic work. The bottom of the standings looks like this. It's Black Rose Racing with the Jaguar, the Mazda of Lightning Motorsport, the McLaren of Column Racing Team, the Aston Martin of Me Cougar Driver Development, a.k.a. Me Cougar, the Ford of Spectrum Motorsport, the Lexus of Rusty Nuts Racing, the Mercedes-Benz of Sparrow Team, and the Toyota of Team Capital, who we didn't see out on track as much as we would have liked in that beautiful Castrol livery they ran this season. Well, we're going to have a little sort of impromptu slash, prize giving thing that's going to happen after this. But first, I've got to say a massive, massive thanks to the man who's been leading us away for most of the season in Split 1 and Split 2. He's been a constant voice all the way through. Loves the words Marty McFarty and is the best pronouncer of the www.motormotioneseries.wordpress.com man I've ever heard in my life. John, mate, big thanks to you. You've put in so many hours here, giving your voice and your insights and making the entertainment come alive on screen. A huge thank you to you for the season.
Yeah, been an absolute pleasure, George. Thank you very much. He still had to throw me under the bus with the website as well, but no. It's been an absolute pleasure. I love commentating because I get a front row seat to the action and I get to share my love of it with the viewers. Thank you to everyone that's been in the chat and supporting the streams with the thumbs up, the likes, the subscribes on all the YouTube channels, of course. Big thank you to the organizer. We just had them in here, and huge thank you to the teams and the drivers and the strategists, because as was mentioned already, without them none of this is possible. And yeah, possibilities are endless with this championship, given the way we've seen the racing go. Make sure again you get signed up, www.motormotioneseries.wordpress.com. There we go. And get yourself involved. Yep, thank you very much. Or the tumbleweed, whichever way my jokes go. But yeah, make sure you get signed up. And yeah, George, cannot wait for season 2. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. John Wright, and thank you to all the commentators who've been joining us in the commentary box. Isaac Forgarty, Matt Smith, Trevor Byers, Andrew Scott. It's been an absolute pleasure. My name's George Cooke, and I've been very proud to be the TrackSpotTV CEO, and TrackSpotTV very proud to have been the broadcasting partner through this series and the primary sponsor. It's been absolutely fantastic. We'll head to the final part of this, where we're going to do a little bit of a prize giving as we finish out and round out the stream. So thank you all again. Stay tuned. We're just going to jump over and get the prize giving started. Here we go. Alrighty, well, this is it. And we're going to start with the third place. It is One Bite Racing's Glenn Mead. Group 4, third place for him. Fantastic round of racing for this man. In third place for the Group 3s, it is Astra Racing's Nick Pfaff. Congratulations to Nissan on what's been a good season. Nick Pfaff has been dominant at the top. Always a presence to be seen. In the Group 4 category, second place goes to Xander Stewart for Yugen Global Racing. That Honda has been a hard car to wrangle. His teammate Matt Donetti and him have both struggled with it throughout the season. So big congratulations on second place in Group 4. Second place in Group 3 goes to Lewis Atkinson, a name who's becoming synonymous with Hooncorp Esports and the Oceanic GT7 and ACC scene in the Chevrolet this season, and done very, very well. Consistent results, a few little hiccups here and there along the way, but nonetheless, second place for Group 3. And a huge congratulations to the first place winner in Group 4. It is Matt McCullum for CP Motorsports in the Lamborghini, and he has been quietly winning races all the way through. And as we said before, he is the most dominant driver in the entire series with 115 points to his name, 1 point clear of Gautam Mahindran's total of 114. And speaking of Gautam Mahindran, it is Gridline Racing and his Ferrari Group 3 category winners. And I tell you what, this man has been superb all the way through the season. Fantastic work by this man. He has been the alien amongst the pigeons, well and truly, and excellent to see him racing out on track. And last but not least, the manufacturer master is Ferrari, and Gridline Racing, the team owner, Scott Taylor, Group 3 driver, Gautam Mahindran, and the Group 4 driver, Scott Taylor. What a fantastic bit of racing they've done this season, and a huge congratulations. They are a Season 1 manufacturer master, Ferrari and Gridline Racing. And a massive thanks to everyone, of course, who has tuned in to the series all the way through. TrackSpotTV, very, very proud to have been the primary sponsor for this season. Check us out on TrackSpot.tv, the website. Sign up for commentary and broadcasting. And of course, massive thanks to MotorMotion E-Series for putting on a fantastic season. My name's been George Cooke. I've been joined by my commentary team at TrackSpotTV. Big thanks to everyone involved. We'll leave it there. See you next time. Thank you very much.